Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Looking like you're going to church. Looking good.
Thank you.
I mean that as a compliment. I told you already, but you look good.
Appreciate that.
So good luck.
It's getting a little bit chillier.
Yeah.
And I got to walk across, I guess it's George Bush, to do interviews today.
Yeah.
Marcel Reed and Torian York.
That's a great crew.
So I thought it might be a little bit too chilly to be.
Yeah.
So here we are.
So it is cold. If you were in South College Station and you saw a man who looks like he's going to rob houses, that was me. I was bundled up doing my run this morning. Like, I had gloves on. I had like 2 hoodies on covering my face as much as possible. My phone froze, whenever it gets too cold or too hot. All that happened. So don't shoot me, please.
I went to the gym, and so I did the treadmill inside.
That's the way to go.
So I could be warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, A&M's rush defense. This stat is probably wrong here, so I'm going to avoid this. But they're actually, when you look at what they've done at home versus away, it's quite alarming, some of these numbers. Would you like to kind of hear it?
Yes, hear it.
All right. So I have let's do the home. Okay. You've got Auburn, 52 yards.
Okay.
You've got Mississippi State, 77 yards.
All right.
And Florida, 74. I chose these games, okay? Like the relevant games, if you will.
Right.
Of an average of 67.6.
Okay.
On the road.
On the road.
I picked SEC games and I picked Notre Dame.
Okay.
I know you could throw.
So you're going to say Power 4 opponents.
Yeah. Notre Dame, 136, which I thought was pretty good.
It is good.
Arkansas, 268.
That's not good.
Not good at all. LSU, 60. Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
But they're not a good running team, but pretty good. And then Mizzou, 207. Not very good.
Not very good.
So that average is 167.75 in 5 games.
Yeah. And I don't think it's as bad as it appears.
Okay.
And I brought that up with Elko yesterday.
Would you like to know where that would rank the 167 in the SEC?
In the SEC, probably somewhere around 10th.
The 167 would be 11th.
11th, okay.
And currently, Texas A&M, actually, I'm doing this, it's doing it in reverse order, if I'm seeing this correctly. Doesn't matter. We'll continue on.
So, this is my, and I love Elko's answer, but my point is I said, hey, Ahmad Hardy went 40 yards on the first play.
Mm-hmm.
And the next time he carried the ball, he ran 40, or the last time he carried the ball, he ran 45. So that's 85 yards. They had 207.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't subtract that. But if you did, they averaged about 3.8 yards a carry the rest of the time.
Which would be good.
Which would be pretty, especially against a team that is accomplished as running team as Missouri is.
Correct.
So I know that, look, this is high school, right? So I'm talking back in the day when Seth McKinney was playing at Westlake. I covered their state championship game. Okay. They played Abilene Cooper. Abilene Cooper had a running back named Dominique Rhodes who would play in the NFL for the Colts. He had an 80-yard touchdown run in that game. And he finished with like 140 yards rushing. And so did he have a great game?
Yeah.
Yeah. But did it really hurt you? I guess what I'm getting at is those numbers may not hurt you or doesn't necessarily hurt you if there's one huge big play involved.
Sure.
Because they won the game something like 35-7. So, yeah, you give up a big one, but I won the rest of the time and I think that's kind of.
But Elko didn't see it like that.
No. And I'm glad he doesn't. Like I said, I liked his response. We're not looking at it that way.
Sure.
Because he rightly so wants to clean it all up. The first play when he went 40 yards, I think it was Damian Sanford, who's a linebacker, and everything got bottled up.
Mm-hmm.
And he got there was some gridlock there. And so he, he starts moving toward the pile where the running back is, not anticipating, and how would he, that Hardy could bounce it out, like we've seen Le'Veon Moss do, against Florida last year, and get around the corner. So to me, that's an easy thing. You just tell your guys, look, here's what we're going to focus on. You can't, you can't let yourself get taken in.
So why am I giving this information?
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about South Carolina's rushing attack.
Let's talk about it.
Did you know?
You mean we're going to talk about Lenore's Sellers?
Well, did you know their running attack is the worst in the SEC?
I do.
They were averaging 100. But by the way, I'll say that in a minute. They're averaging 100 yards per game and 2.83 yards per carry.
Yeah.
And A&M's already pretty good at stopping the run at home.
Yeah.
But Lenore Sellers is a monster, man.
He is. And we saw last year what he can do. And it's not so much the design runs where he kills you, as we all saw last year. It's the plays off schedule that he's able to do. Are we going to look at one right here? We have flashbacks.
Oh, that's the second play of the game.
Yeah, but that was a pass that turned into a big play.
But it should have been a sack.
It should have been a sack.
And maybe the game feels different there. Oh, look at the elusive Lenoris.
Lenoris is the guy. He's the very definition in this game of the quarterback. Pretty much what you want to do. I would think A&M's defensive game plan is going to be very similar to the defensive game plan that Missouri had last week.
Yeah.
As long as Lenore Sellers is in the pocket, you're safe.
You are safe. By the way, I didn't remember this. Maybe I just didn't see it. But Bronny, did you see his tweet yesterday? He retweeted a Shane Beamer statement from last year after the beating. And he basically said, I was so proud of these guys, or yada, yada, yada. You know, the thing a coach would say. Mm-hmm. And our fans for being a true 12th man.
Oh, okay.
Huh. Now,
I don't consider that a slight.
No, but we could take it as a slight. If I put it this way, if I'm a fan at that game, I take it as a slight. It's not a. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you kind of manufacture sometimes anger.
Because what I'm saying is, if he said we're a true 12th man, not like A&M, then you say okay. But if he's saying it's a true 12th man, they helped us.
Yeah, but that's our thing. You can't say it. You're not in the 12th man community. Not even the Seahawks can say it, in my opinion. It belongs to A&M. It's a trademark at A&M.
Yes, but
you can't. It's a shot at A&M.
I'm not a fan of Shane Beamer. I liked his dad a lot. His rah-rah stuff rubs me. Sometimes it just goes overboard.
I kind of like him.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
And I'll say this: I still don't take it that way.
Yeah, but I bet you, if we took a poll, people would take it that way.
Yeah, because Aggies tend to overreact to everything.
Hello, I overreact to everything. Of course, I'm an overreactor. I kind of agree with you, but I also don't want to agree with you. I want to see it as a slight. Does that make sense?
You want
I want them to show it on the Jumbotron.
Full of pissed off Aggies.
Yeah.
Like the one kid. Who was it? Who was the kid?
Did Lenoris really say something about Kyle Field? Is that true? Or is that just
Did he? I don't know. Somebody did once.
No, like recently.
I saw that when you started talking about this, I started thinking about that tweet I saw. I don't know how real that is. I'll try to figure it out. But
see if that's real.
I don't think it's real. Yeah, this look a little fake.
He's a classy guy.
Yeah, I like him, by the way. And I think who was it? It was Jalen Catalan who made the comment last week. It really wasn't
taken out of context.
Yeah, well, I don't know about out of context, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Just sometimes people talk. right?
One time, I can't remember who it is. Maybe you or Nick will remember. A guy came in and he made some kind of comment about it's not that loud or something.
It was the
I think it was
quarterback at Missouri last year.
Yeah, Missouri game last year. He said that practices were louder than Kyle Field or something like that.
And we showed it up on the
right. So you want to see the fans act like, respond for, let's face it, the last real game at Kyle Field. Because I'm sorry, I know coaches don't feel this way. Sanford's a practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last real game at Kyle Field, you would hope that the atmosphere is phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, what I hope is that in the fourth quarter, A&M is up by 3 or 4 scores or 5. That's what I hope. Okay. And there might be a reminder of the real 12th man. That's all I'm saying. Just a reminder. I know Coach Elko would never make a comment like that.
Yeah, I think I don't think Shane Beamer made a comment like that either. I think he was just giving his fans some love for being supportive.
Yeah, well, he could have used another term. Really proud of our fans. I agree to agree and disagree.
You know
all at the same time.
What do they say that imitation's the sincerest form of flattery?
I don't believe that. When the other websites steal our information and
that's
use
not
it,
imitation. That's plagiarism. There's a difference.
Yeah, we know who you are, by the way. We know exactly who you are. We know everything about your membership or what do you call it? Subscription to TexAgs. Anyway, shall we? Here's another one for you.
All right.
Lane Kiffin.
How about that?
Okay, so
I did see that.
I got a good buddy, Nathan, who sent that to me yesterday, Nathan Stewart. And I don't know
He's right, by the way.
Well, he is right. But, there's a part of me that's like, is he trolling? Is he doing something? Is he auditioning? What is he doing? Because again, I've told you this many times. There's a lot of things about Lane I like. A lot.
Lane Kiffin is this generation's Steve Spurrier. He speaks the truth.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't like the truth.
Because you can't handle the truth.
Because you can't handle the truth, Jessup. She had
You have no idea. Don't worry about
it. He always talked about maybe every year you just go through the transfer portal the way it's set up to get your team.
Yep.
Or, Jimbo Fisher said this, and so,
Let me read what he said, so those who don't know. Talking about the college football playoff rankings, he says, Texas A&M being 3, what more do you want them to do to be 1? Well, they went up to Notre Dame and won. So those people say, man, those schedules are worth it to play that. I should say aren't, I believe. What if they didn't play Notre Dame and they just played whoever and just had an easy win? They'd be ranked in the same spot. So what good did that do if it's not rewarded? So they've got the highest metrics of everybody, and they're not number 1. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I don't care that A&M's 3. We've discussed that ad nauseum. But you look at Indiana's non-conference schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And they played like Indiana State and Kennesaw State and some other dog. And then Signetti goes and talks about how strong their schedule is because they play a 9th conference game. And I'm saying, okay, so you're playing Purdue. A&M's going to play
Notre Dame. Yeah.
Sorry, ain't the same.
Not the same.
And then when you figure in the teams that A&M's going to play in their conference, it's just so Lane Kiffin is right on point.
And here's another little stat for you. Do you know who leads the nation in sacks?
As a team?
Yeah, as a team. I believe it's Texas A&M.
Some team has 35. I'm trying to remember who it is, but they played more games.
Or sorry, sacks per game.
Per game, Texas A&M.
Yeah, 3.8. And here's a stat. And this is a stat that, again, just like the running stat, I have to put a disclaimer at the end, okay?
Yeah.
Lenore Sellers has been, this is from Saturday Down South. Lenore Sellers has been pressured on 44.7 of his dropbacks, which is the highest among power conference quarterbacks. And that's minimum 75 pressured dropbacks. So I tell you, they're not very good running the ball. Mm-hmm. I tell you that Lenore Sellers gets hit a lot or gets, a lot of pressure.
They've been sacked 34 times. The same as many as A&M has gotten.
Right. I say that all out to you. We're in a new year. We feast on this.
Feast.
Years past, we'd be like, well, it goes the opposite. Not anymore. We don't think about the past. We're going forward.
I'm thinking about it. so it doesn't happen again. Those who don't remember the history are doomed to repeat it. So don't repeat that history. Remember last year, South Carolina had one of the worst teams in terms of pass protection, and A&M got no sacks, and Lenore's was running wild, ran for a touchdown, 106 yards, I think it was, threw for 244 and 2 touchdowns. So yes, I want to remember that history so it does not repeat itself.
Yeah. I think those players have probably watched the film many times.
Oh, I think it's been brought up.
And I bet you it's like, these guys stole your season last year. These guys said they had the real 12th man. We own the 12th man. And we need to own Lenore Sellers.
Yes, we need to keep him in the pocket.
Yeah.
Not that he can't throw. And by the way, he's got college football's version of Usain Bolt at wide receiver.
Nicholas Harbor.
A big, fast guy.
He is fast. And he's big.
And
this show is big. We're worldwide. We're gigantic.
And getting bigger, like my stomach.
It's called TexAgs Live, by the way.
The show, not my stomach.
No. If you gave your stomach a name, what would it be?
Luch. I might be fired.
Again. We're presented by, you could have said Ronnie. You could have said a lot of different things.
Yeah, I probably should have.
Yeah. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. This is...
Well, it used to be the go hour.
Now it's like no hour.
Yeah, the no hour. The Nuño hour.
I don't even know.
Nuño, by the way, not a no hour.
I allowed you to go there, so I'm going to get walking papers as well. And that the go hour is presented by
the warehouse at CC Creations.
And our good friend Buppy brings us the hotline, and we call it the Buppy's Catering and
Bartending Hotline.
979-693-1150. You call that number, Olin will answer because he's going to have a new job at Bryant Broadcasting, answering the phones instead of being on the show. Riley, you're coming on up. Anyway, what else?
There's a whole bunch of interns in that room over there high-fiving each other, say, hey, there's a job coming open.
Yeah, except a lot of those interns are not trying to donate their time. Never mind. I won't go. I won't throw them on blast. Let's go around the room and say hi to Nick Savage. That was for Nick. Nick, good morning, buddy.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
How are you?
I'm good. David, I'm surprised you haven't taken more of well, I guess, we've been talking a lot about Missouri yesterday and a little bit of today, but is the victory lap going to start up with you? Because you called it preseason. South Carolina wasn't going to be as good. You didn't buy the hype, and they're coming in here with a pretty putrid offense. So, I mean, looking at the numbers, like you mentioned, I feel pretty good about it. But
the victory lap, Nick, will have to happen after the game.
Yeah, good point.
Right? But I remember going on an SEC Mike show the one time he couldn't get Lucci, so he asked me to come on, and I'm sure he was gritting his teeth like that. But I went on his show, and he asked me who I think the question was, Nick, you might remember, who I thought was the most overrated team. And I said South Carolina. And I said, and I think you and I were in agreement.
We always talked about that, yeah.
Because I thought your defense can't be as good, and part of the reason that I thought Lenoris was able to be so good was that defense allowed him to get more offensive opportunities, and he was really good, right? And I think they lost something on offense. Rocket Sanders wasn't there anymore. One of their wide receivers, can't remember the name right now, was gone. So I was like, I think they're going to take a major step back. And if you look at the comments on his page, because I looked at them, people thought I was ridiculous. Every once in a while, I'm right, and it seems like I'm right now about that. It seems like you were right as well.
Yeah, you aced that test.
Thank you. Anything else you want to say?
No, I thought it could have. I agree. I thought that was, in fact, somebody I really respect and admire their opinion is Marty Smith.
Yeah.
And he even said, I don't think that the questions about the defense are going to be I don't think the defense is going to be as bad as some people think.
Yep.
And it is.
I'm going to fix my microphone. We go now to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, McKinley Polanski.
Good morning.
Good
How
morning.
are y'all?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. How was Columbia, Missouri?
Columbia was fine.
It was fine. It was
fine.
It was cool.
You know what? The people there were awesome.
They were
us,
great.
Especially the parking attendant.
Oh, the night, and I'm going to go on a limb. Nicest parking attendant I've ever dealt with. Ever. In the history of people.
And they treated us well, and A&M won the game, and then we had a nice meal. So Columbia was fine.
Can I just say this? Because it's about me.
St. Louis didn't treat me so well.
I'm not a big St. Louis fan. But this has been such a relaxing, fun road trip season. You know, like, I guess I've only gone on 2, right? Hold on, let me think. Notre Dame and this one, right? Is that right?
We went to the tailgate at Notre Dame.
Yeah, that was
very nice.
fantastic. But these road trips, like, because I suffered, we suffered through 10 straight losses on the road. And I'm like, I'm not going no more. It's like the travel, like when your team wins, doesn't matter if you leave at 3:50 in the morning. Like, it's fun.
You know, I got to say that A&M has gone on 2 road trips where you attended, and they've both been against ranked teams. And you know how Aggies are about not interrupting the karma or the whatever that would be. So I guess you're required to
go.
make and he is going to Texas, by the way.
I am going to Texas.
Never F with the winning streak, right?
Apparently, you can't, you know, God forbid you move the studio table in the middle of an hour. So, yeah, I'll be going to Texas. I hope to be going to Atlanta. I hope to be going to the Cotton Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, whatever it is. And I hope to keep going wherever the season takes us.
Until January 19th, I think.
I hope. That's my hope.
That's the goal. That's what we're shooting for.
America. Hey, by the way, McKinley, I'm sure you had something to say.
Yes,
other than, hey, how was Missouri?
Sorry, I do. 9-0 Aggies. Feels great. With that being said, Texas A&M's Damian Sanford and Cassius Howell earned SEC Weekly honors on Monday after their outstanding performance this past weekend on the road win over Mizzou. Damian Sanford earned SEC Defensive Player of the Week honors, and Cassius Howell received Defensive Lineman of the Week award for the 4th time this season.
4 times. I think he's going to make all conference.
You better.
Yeah. I mean, you're only what? Not even half. Well, you're halfway through, but you still got a couple of conference games, and you've already been. Okay, let me put it this way: you got 4 weeks in the conference season. Now I know that it wasn't just conference games, but 4 weeks, and you've gotten half of them.
We're going to talk to
8 weeks.
South Carolina insider later. Are you not worried, not concerned? Are you keeping an eye on what maybe this offense looks like because Mike Shula was fired as their offensive coordinator? The new guy, can't remember his name at the moment, it's the OC. You think they'll change some things around?
Oh, no. I think what you might see is a new guy. The offense is going to be the same, but a new guy might take more chances.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't a Kevin Sumlin fan, but I remember when, as a head coach, I remember when RC made him the offensive coordinator during the season.
Sure.
And they came out throwing all over the place.
They were a different team, yeah.
So that can be the case.
Hey, we've got, I think I'm still invited, a Friday lunch.
Yeah, you're invited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should pay, even though I'm invited.
Well, I mean, if TexAgs wants to put the bill for us, it is Marcel's mom and dad.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to just having them sample the sampler.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've been there before.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
In fact, I think Rod Reed texted me, said, hey, we took your advice. We went to check it out, and you were right. Everything you said was true. Now, he didn't say the brisket was succulent,
right?
That the jalapeno cheese sausage was amazing. He didn't say that. He just said he didn't say the queso mac and cheese is life-changing. He just said everything you said was right. Was the truth.
Yeah, the queso mac and cheese, now that you put it in that light, you're right. It is
life-changing.
Yeah, it did change my life. It's the first time in my life I'm like, I think I'm a carb guy.
Yeah.
First time, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
But then when you're at 1775, you realize, but actually I'm a carnivore.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? Just balance.
You're a carnivore and a carbivore. You can be both.
You can call them up. Did you know this? You can call them.
You can.
Yeah, 979-492-6241. Did you know you can go to their website?
I did know that.
Okay, 1775txbbq.com. I love it.
Yeah, it's good.
Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
You know, I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning. But they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free $99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas, it's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love Holistic Planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer. You like the song?
No. Did you even hear the lyrics of the song?
No, I didn't hear what
it opens up. She's been going out with him and she's been going out with me. If she's going out with him, she ain't going out with me. You're either going, I'm not playing that game. What has happened to men in America? You're going to simp like that? The minute I found out she might be going out with somebody, she's cut loose.
What if you're the guy that's on the down low? And I should probably move on from this topic. It's TexAgs Live.
Now, if the roles are reversed and there's two going out with me, that's okay. Back in the day, no more, Irma. But it doesn't happen anymore.
Let's be serious. That never happened.
But no, I would tell my son, I would tell my son, if you ever find out she's going out, that's it. Cut her loose. Don't look back. Don't write a song about it.
Don't write a song about it.
And look for his truck.
We had so much fun that segment. We didn't tell the people where we're sitting.
We're in the holistic planning cool zone.
What makes it so cool? The air conditioning is
well
part
that,
of it.
but
Yeah.
because holistic planning can help you with your investments make money for the future, to make money now, to put money away, all the things to help you make money and prepare your for everything. And nothing is cooler than that.
Yeah. Let's do the performance of the week, shall we, OB?
Okay.
I'm going to give you one to start off with.
There's so many.
There's many. But here's one that, you know what, I don't think I gave enough props to, but I was listening to Coach Elko yesterday when he was giving out his weekly awards.
Yeah.
Tyreek Chappelle,
what a tackle he made on that one play in particular where he read it, and it was a quick, I don't know, I guess it's some kind of wide receiver screen thing. He was on the guy. In fact, if he was just a step faster, he might have picked it and gotten pick six. But yeah, he was outstanding.
Well,
I didn't realize the stat that Coach Elko brought
about
up.
Kevin Coleman, 1 catch for 1 yard.
Yeah, we'll take that every time.
Well, think about this, though. That's 2 years in a row that when A&M has played Missouri, they have completely blanketed, if you will. That's probably not the right way to phrase it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of their top receivers.
Last year, Luther Burden was pretty much neutralized.
Right.
Theo Weiss helped.
Theo Weiss.
He got a touchdown late.
But he was...
But, yeah, I mean, they weren't huge factors. But if you want to bring up last year, then I've got to say, well, Reuben Owens, because now it's a tradition for A&M running backs to have long touchdown runs.
Yeah.
Because, what did he go, 57 yards for a touchdown?
Had an amazing day, over 100 yards again.
57 yards. Last year, it was Le'Veon Moss going 75 yards for a touchdown. In 2021, it was Isaiah Spiller going 48. So when you play Missouri, you just have long touchdown runs. And Reuben Owens kept it going.
Let's give a couple more.
Okay.
The SEC already said they deserve this, but Damian Sanford, Cassius Howell.
And
strip sacks.
And then Dalton Brooks. Or Albert Regis, depending on who actually refused to call off the fake punt.
If you guys didn't hear Elko yesterday, he was hilarious. We're talking about Dalton Brooks. He should have scored on both of those.
They said, hey, are you going to let him play offense? No, he should have scored on both.
That was fantastic. And then the other one, Casey Concepcion.
Casey, man, those receivers, these who might be the greatest pair of transfer portal acquisitions in the brief history of the transfer portal, not just at A&M.
Yeah.
I mean, anywhere. Now, somebody up at Ohio State would argue, because they had some guys in it. But man, the way these guys have transformed that offense. Hey, how about this? How about Adam Cushing for being able to have an offensive line ready where they don't, Amarje gets hurt. So normally a team brings in the guy to play that position.
Right.
And, you do the best you can. No, we're going to take our left tackle and move him to center, and we're going to take our center and move him to right guard, and then we're going to take a guy off the bench and move him to left tackle. Right. I mean, 3 moves and it was amazing. Worked out great.
Hey, later on, or next segment, we're going to talk to Charean the Dream.
All right.
Got a lot to talk about with Charean. So let's, OB, I think you should hear about this. Texas A&M fans, elevate your game day experience at the Tesla Motors Tailgate of the Future. Hosted by TexAgs, right here.
I know one
Tesla Motors.
I know one of the bosses drives a Tesla.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have the Mr. Tesla. Oh, maybe not Mr. Tesla.
Oh, yeah. Elon's coming.
I don't think Elon's
He's
coming.
One of my heroes.
But discover the full Tesla lineup on display. The refined Model S, the versatile Model 3, the Model Y, the innovative Model X, and the groundbreaking Cybertruck. Explore cutting-edge technology, instant torque, and sustainable performance up close. Enjoy exclusive giveaways and exciting prizes throughout the event. Capture the moment with interactive displays and learn how Tesla is accelerating the world's transition to sustainable abundance. Join them in celebration. It is Tesla Motors. See you at their tailgate. Check out Tesla Motors.
screen.
All right, it's time to honor all those who served in the U.S. military. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. I should have led the show with that.
I have friends who are veterans. My grandfather fought in World War I. We appreciate all veterans. We can never do enough to thank them.
Yeah, it's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Our good friend, Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk, the Aggie Hall of Famer, and our dear friend. I already said that, but I'll say it again. Charean, good morning.
Good morning, and happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. I heard you guys wish them a happy Veterans Day, and we're thankful for all they've done and are doing for the country.
Yep.
Charean, let's start off with just belief in this team that I don't want to use an old talking point, but like what I've said this year is it looks different. It feels different than last year. I just believe in this team, and I just want you to kind of talk about your belief in what they're able to do this year.
Yeah, and I think this past game was like a perfect example. A ton of my friends texted me and said, I'm nervous, I'm anxious, and battered Aggie syndrome. I get all that, but I just said, look, they're starting a freshman quarterback who's never made a start. Their best tight end is out of the game. If you can't win this game, you don't deserve it. And there's a belief in this team that they're just going to get it done. And I don't remember the last time I felt like that. Maybe 2012 with Johnny, the way he was playing, and then he was banged up at the end of the year, and it didn't happen. But there is, you just feel like, or I do, I just feel like they're going to find a way to win. And the second half, they really put them away. I thought it might be closer than what it was. The first half was probably more indicative of how I thought it would go, but I never had a doubt that they would pull out that game, even when they were sitting there at 7-0 right before the half. I just felt like A&M was going to win, and it's again something that I haven't felt in many seasons, going way back into at least the early 1980s, if not the late 1970s. Just not many years you feel like this, that they're just going to find a way to win.
Yeah, I haven't seen a team that I like that just dominates the second half since maybe my other team that I like.
The Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, since E.J. Smith's dad, maybe there's a Smith thing about that.
Yeah.
By the way, I really do you ever run into Emmett, and does he ever talk about E.J. and what's going on? I know you have access to a lot of those people.
Yeah, I haven't in a while. I'm looking forward to seeing him at some point talking about. I tell you what, you want to talk about a guy who's turned into a great team player. That's a great team player.
Yes,
on the Casey punt return earlier this year, the 3 blocks that he had, great blocker, blitz pick-upper, all of that. And then the run he had on 4th down a couple games ago.
Yeah.
The Arkansas game, that was, to me, the biggest play of that game. If he doesn't get that game may go a different way. But he did get it, and he's just had such great plays for this team, and much better player. I think he understands the offense better than he was last year, and an experienced player too. But you talk about a player who's grown into somebody. I remember meeting him. He was we were flying to the Hall of Fame, and I was on the same flight as Emmett and EJ. And he was still in high school, and I think he was close to committing to Stanford, or had just committed to Stanford. And Emmett was so proud of him and wanted to introduce him to me. And so, because I went up to tell Emmett hi, but he was just really proud of his son. He goes to most games, if not all the games, to watch him play. I just think that's really cool.
Well, don't discount
they have and how he's grown.
And I know you're not, Charean, but don't discount the 1-yard touchdown run against Missouri. They gave them the 14-0 lead.
Yep.
Because, I don't know if you know this, but A&M's had trouble scoring from the 1-yard line.
They have had trouble,
and he's been a power back on top of everything else.
Yeah. He's been the unsung hero, I think, of this team this year. There have been a bunch of them, but he's one who's at the top of that list, I think, of unsung heroes. They're not guys you immediately say he's been a big part of this team, but you start thinking about it and you go, man, without him, we may not be undefeated at this point.
Well, Elko actually said yesterday that he is kind of an example of, you look at him and that's what a championship team looks like. You find guys like that who had higher aspirations, but it's not working out, but still are making have the great attitude and still make significant contributions, even though maybe it wasn't the contribution that you dreamed of.
Yeah, and there's some freshmen who aren't getting a ton of snaps, but they're making the most of those snaps that they're getting, and it's the same type deal. I think this has turned into a true team. And another thing I point out is this is one of the rare teams. 2012 wasn't like this at all. Again, Johnny was banged up. But this is one of the rare A&M teams that I've seen that has just continued to get better week after week after week after week. And I think they're a much better team today than they were when they played Notre Dame. And I think if you go back, I think if they get an opportunity to play Notre Dame in the playoffs, I don't even think it's going to be close. I think they're going to blow Notre Dame out. I'm hoping for that matchup because I think they'll kill Notre Dame. I just think they're a different team. They've just grown as we've gone throughout the year. And I think, to me, that's the most exciting thing because I don't even think they've hit their peak. And we're going to find out maybe, hopefully, the SEC title game and then the playoff games to come after that. But I still think they've got a lot of room for growth.
How much would you be concerned, Charean, about the tendency to give up the big play in the running game and, like they did against Missouri?
Yeah, very concerned.
Okay.
If you ask me one concern, that's it right there. A little bit on the special teams. Special teams made a couple of plays, but the kickoff returns and punt returns scared me to death when the other team runs it back. I'm just scared we're not going to make those tackles. And Missouri did have one long return. So those are the two areas I think they really need to work on shoring up, and punting, obviously, too, with 2 punts blocked this year. But, yeah, the got to be better against the run, and a lot of it is just tackling. Like, they're just missing those first and second tackles and allowing those running backs to get more yards than what they should have gotten initially. If you make that first tackle or that second tackle, and I'm seeing a lot of grabbing at the ball, too, and probably need to stop that and just make the tackle. We're not good at pulling the balls out. We haven't gotten a lot of takeaways this year. Just make the tackle, and you're going to be okay.
Charean, I'm embarrassed. I was not able to watch the Texans comeback. Billy and I were recording the Luchador. They were down, 19 points. We're recording. We're like, and then later I find out they win. What happened?
Second biggest comeback in their team history. It was pretty amazing. Davis Mills threw 2 touchdowns and ran for another, and the Jaguars had 11 yards in the fourth quarter. They really stymied them. That defense is good. It just, can you get enough offense? And they haven't been good in the red zone, and they were much better in the red zone with Davis Mills at quarterback than they have been with C.J. Stroud at quarterback, and just made the plays they needed to make. So it was an amazing comeback, kept their season alive, because I'd already written them off saying this season's over. They've lost. They're getting killed. It's going to be a blowout today, and kudos to them for hanging in there and getting the comeback. And that was a big, big blow to the Jaguars.
And then let's do the Aggies in the NFL, because I know there's some really good candidates again this week.
There are, and I completely forgot about it until about 30 minutes ago. So hopefully I did not miss anyone. But the number one is very easy, and we'll get to that in a second. We're going to give a couple of honorable mentions to. You could give this thing to Myles Garrett every week. 3 tackles. He had another sack, quarterback hit. Just 1 sack today on Sunday, though. We're more used to him having multiple sacks. Edwin Cooper, 6 tackles and 2 tackles for loss. He was very active last night in the Packers' loss. Talk about a disappointing team there. Nick Scorton, another sack. This just seems like every week he's getting a sack, 4 tackles to go with that. So number 3, Aaron Glenn gets his second win over Myles Garrett's. Browns, pretty amazing. They've won 2 games because they are not a very good football team right now. So pretty good second win for AG there. Dan Campbell took over play calling duties. They just managed 546 yards and 44 points. Just an outstanding job as the offensive play caller for Dan Campbell. Took those over from John Morton and did an outstanding job against the Commanders. Number 1 was easy. Anybody who watched any games on Sunday knows it was Devon Achane. 22 carries, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 catches, 51 yards. Maybe his best performance of his career. And he may get AFC Offensive Player of the Week. We'll look and see if he gets that for this week.
Great stuff, Charean. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Great stuff from Charean the Dream Williams here on TexAgs Live. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back, OB, with just some final thoughts.
Yeah, we got some
chit-chat a little bit as we close out the Go Hour presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Right now, when it comes to your money and your peace of mind, it starts with the right team, and that right team is Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They are an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you with a team of 18 professionals, including over 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA, and their expertise runs deep at Paragon because credentials matter, and so does your future. Visit paragon-adv.com or call them up, 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors. Integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. Hey guys, David Nuño here to talk about our new partners with EventPipe. They are a leader in hotel booking technology, and now they're giving you a chance to support Aggie student athletes every time that you travel. Thanks to their partnership with United and EventPipe, whether you're heading into a game, a business trip, or family vacation, every room that you book comes with cash back in the pockets of Aggie athletes. That's a wonderful deal. And with EventPipe, you'll get discounted hotel rates up to 20% lower than the major travel sites while enjoying a fast, easy booking process. They've even created Presto, EventPipe's quick launch booking solution. It lets organizations build branded hotel sites powered by live hotel inventory, making it simple to book the perfect stay. So next time you want to book a trip, do it the smart way with EventPipe and support Texas Aggies NIL through United. Visit their website, tau.eventpipe.com. We're hanging out still at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
All right.
Have you noticed that like the staff in the back, they're ready. They're like a NASCAR pit crew. They're ready to like get rid of this set and like, no, I kind of enjoy it here.
Yeah.
Kind of
I run a tight ship back here, David.
Yeah, but we're a bunch of old guys. Bartles and James commercial, which was
We thank you for your support.
You have no idea what we're talking about, right, Nick?
No, none at all.
A couple old guys just, what were they, drinking Bartles and James on their porch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about
football, probably.
Trying to sell it and saying, hey, we thank you for your support.
We do thank you for your support. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. We love McKinley Polanski's support on the show.
Yes. Hey. I want to say my performance of the week is Texas A&M volleyball's Maddie Walk was named SEC Setter of the Week for the second time this season following a dominant sweep at Auburn. This is her second weekly honor of the year and fourth of her career. She had 44 assists, averaging 14.67 per set, and marked her 12th game this season, surpassing 40 assists. She recorded 3 kills on 3 swings for a perfect 1,000 hitting percentage.
How about that?
Yeah. We'll be talking to Jamie Morrison later on.
Who do they play next?
Is it Auburn?
Is it Sunday? Do they usually play on Sunday?
Let me look.
Double check who they got next.
Because they're good.
They're not just good.
They play Florida in game.
Sorry, Florida.
I went to their game, and there was Elko, there was Bucky McMillan.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see everybody at those games.
I think Florida's only lost twice at home or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, they're number 3.
Hopefully. Yeah, let's keep the streaks going. Let's get one more in there, shall we?
Yeah. I have a text message from Bruce from Belton. He said, Bruce. He said, I have heard more than one national media guy compare Elko to Nick Saban. Demeanor, culture, player behavior, results. Elko is a special coach to be drawing that comparison in year 2.
Well, let's hope that we have 20 years of excellence like Alabama did under Saban.
Could you imagine? Oh, God. This show.
Awesome.
I won't retire, Obie. Neither
I
will
won't
you.
either.
Yeah. Hey, as a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls, reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. Obie, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Josh Pate coming up next. Bunch of tattletales on the message board. They want me to go after Pate. Pate State? We'll talk. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Time for our weekly conversation with our dear friend Josh Pate, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. And the most festive gear of the year is back at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Don't miss the limited edition Magellan Outdoor Christmas Market Collection, only at Academy. Exclusive 2025 gear and gifts for all of your holiday parties, fun family photos, and Christmas morning traditions. Check out the entire collection from matching PJs and holiday print fishing shirts, dresses to exclusive new Mossy Oak Snowdrift camo styles, and much more. Shop in store at academy.com. If you need it fast, get same-day delivery powered by DoorDash. Let your holiday fun begin with the Magellan Outdoor Christmas Market Collection, only at Academy. Whew. And with that, we go to the Puppies Catering Hotline. Our dear friend, Josh Pate. What's up, buddy?
Do you do the one breath, let's see if I can make it through the entire read sort of approach there?
I don't think about it until I think about it, if that makes any sense. Like, I just do it, and then I realize I probably need a breath.
Yeah, so let me tell you that one of the most dangerous things I do in life, I drive from Nashville to Columbus, Georgia, especially in the spring and summer when we're not doing 3 shows a week. So that's about a 5-hour drive. Normally I do it at night because I'm a night driver. In order to entertain myself and to keep myself awake, I developed a habit, especially in the last hour or so, of seeing if I could hold my breath for certain lengths of road. Because I know, like, I've got my records. I know if I pass this exit ramp, can I hold my breath until I get to the bridge overpass in LaGrange, Georgia, especially? We all know where that is. So is it dangerous? Yes. Yeah. Well, what is the risk? You could fall asleep at the wheel. You could pass out. Yes. However, the reward is you could break your own records and fill the time until you get home. And it's a really desolate drive through rural Georgia at 1 a.m. So you got to do something. What am I going to do? Listen to music? I've already done that 4 hours.
You know, I used to be like you. I used to be a night driver. When my kids were little, we'd go to Disney all the time, especially when I worked at Disney for ABC. And we had free passes to Disney. So I would leave like at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, because they would sleep. When they were little, they would sleep throughout the drive, right? I can't do that anymore. I can't drive past 9 o'clock. I'm an old man. It catches up with you, Josh.
That's tough. Now, I wanted to ask you another Texas A&M related question.
Okay.
Even though it's supposed to be you interviewing me, I just came with a bunch of questions.
We're friends.
Morning.
We can do this.
I want to know, you, Lucci, the viewers, the listeners, we all know what time of month it is. We all know what time of season it is. We know what our record is. We know what the odds say. We know what we've been doing on the field. However, we know what history says. Nothing is guaranteed. Been a lot of almosts and then falling short. How many people have begun to book rooms in Atlanta that you know of?
A lot. A lot of people.
Wow.
Now,
forget the past. I love it.
We take our cues from Mike Elko, right? Mike Elko's like, why are we talking about last year? Like, this is this year. We're 9 games in. Here it is, Josh. And for me, look, sometimes a company or a city has to plan things just in case, right? So it's not the path to the SEC championship game for A&M. They control their destiny, right? Win and you're in. Win these 3 games, you're in. Win 2 of these games, right? You're in. And I think they should be favored in these games. But I got to bring something up with you, my friend, okay? Apparently, there's a lot of tattletales on the TexAgs message board that I'm supposed to ask you questions on why we were on upset alert before, and I think somebody said you picked us to lose the Texas game. Like, so are the tattletales right? Tell me what you're thinking about A&M's path to the SEC championship game.
Yeah, I actually think they have the best path to the SEC championship game. What we did the other day, when we come in on Sunday, so firstly, let's back up before Sunday. Yes, I put them on upset alert against Missouri because I just go off historicals, not with A&M, with college football,
right?
With any kind of team that is in new territory. So A&M's kind of in new territory right now. It's been a while since we talked about them like this. When you get into November, same thing with Indiana last week. When you get into November and you're favored on the road in conference games, those just are not easy spots. Doubly especially, I know A&M was off a bye, but when you're facing an opponent off a bye, not to mention one playing their backup quarterback, which is a spot that I've told you many times I automatically love betting on because I think the gap between QB1 to QB2 is sometimes really overvalued in college football. Maybe not in this case, but it normally is. So, yeah, I had the A&M game circled. I took Missouri plus the points, A&M to win outright. I thought it'd be a one-possession game. So, yeah, I got silenced on that one pretty quick. At least they did it early. At least I didn't have to watch them pull away late. At least I know early on it's dead. Chalk it up as a win. Okay, so then the next thing we do is we come in on Sunday. We're getting ready to do the show. I always do an update to my playoff predictions, my bracket and stuff like that. So I would love to say that we sat there and laid this out in really, really calculated form. We didn't. It was the last thing we did before the show, and so I was trying to figure out. I got A&M, Alabama still in Atlanta. I've got Indiana, Ohio State still in Indianapolis. What would the order be? So I picked Bama to win the whole thing preseason, so I cannot come off the prediction. So I would have A&M losing to Alabama. What I asked my staff is, would they fall to 3 or 4? Like, where would they? How would the seeding stack up for the first round buys? So we put a loss in there for A&M because we had one percentage-wise already baked in. And even though they removed the Missouri data point, I still baked one in. At that point, I'm thinking, well, which game could they lose? The Texas game was just the most likely one. You know, I predict those games week of.
Yeah.
So it's just like 50,000 foot stuff. Strong possibility I just end up predicting A&M to win every game remaining, but I will do the same thing for Alabama. Yet tonight on the show, we'll do the breakdown OU-Bama. Not a big fan of the matchup for Alabama. And I also don't just look past the Auburn game because they got to play them on the road. Bama keeps playing these low margin for error, one possession type games. So I don't know. Here's what I do know. I think those two teams are still on track to play in Atlanta. I still think they'll both have first round buys. I'm trying to figure out as soon as tonight, like, does A&M hop Indiana, which we may talk about, but then where does the loser of the respective conference championship games fall relative to the other loser? Because I think we're all pretty confident the top 4 will be SEC Big Ten. I just don't know how they'll fall, and it matters a lot. If you look at the way those brackets set up, you look at the draw the number 3 seed gets versus the one the number 4 seed gets in some of these, it's a different world. I know that's all, dependent on how the rest of the bracket falls. But yeah, I'm really interested in how they judge A&M tonight, because I think that probably down the road projects a good ways to how the committee will view the loser of Alabama, A&M, and the loser of Ohio State, Indiana.
I look at A&M and I'm like, look, I know there's a lot of comparing of resumes with Indiana and like who they've played, and even Ohio State and who A&M's played. And I'm just a believer. If A&M wins every game, and I'm including the SEC championship game, they'll be the number 1 or 2 seed. I just feel that way based on what's still ahead. In the SEC championship game, you'd be, if you win, first you got to beat Texas, right? And winning against Texas on the road, depending on what Texas team shows up, right? You got to beat an Alabama or an Ole Miss team or a Georgia team in the SEC championship game. I'm not saying that's a foregone conclusion, but in this scenario, I think if they win those games, they've got to be 1 or 2, Josh. Am I wrong here?
No, I'd put them number 2 tonight. So I'd already have them number 2 before they had to clear those hurdles. I'm trying to think. Honestly, I don't know how they wouldn't be. I guess if they wouldn't be, it would only be because the committee adhered to this completely. Well, if you're going through the conference championship game, though, yeah, of course they're 1 or 2. I'd put them number 1. I'd actually probably have them number 1 if they were to clear those 2 remainers. Yeah, the lowest they would be is number 2. I'm trying to figure out, even in a world where they lose a game, how far do they fall? If the loss is the conference championship game, how far do they fall? It's no further than 4. And so to a common person who doesn't understand college football, they're saying, why are you wasting all this time talking about the difference between being number 3 or number 4? Because I see the projected brackets, and I know think about Oregon. Oregon last year. What if they were the 2 seed instead of the 1 seed? Sounds worse, right? Well, they wouldn't have drawn Ohio State in round 2. So, what could have happened for Oregon? So, anyway, I know that's still really 50,000 foot because we don't know how the rest of the bracket's going to play out. But, yeah, tonight is tonight. I'd have Texas A&M number 2 tonight, and you can make the argument for number 1 tonight. I would certainly put them at least number 2 tonight.
Josh, look, I think you know Lane Kiffin pretty well. I don't know him at all. And he's an interesting guy where there's certain things he says, I like him a lot. And there's other things I was like, he's just trolling too much for my... Yesterday, it felt like, with his comments about A&M should be number 1, it felt like he wasn't trolling. Am I right? I feel like he was actually being very honest about what he thinks about A&M and their resume as opposed to what is being said.
Yeah, I think it's a little selfish, or it's self-serving, but also authentic. He's just saying what he thinks authentically about Texas A&M, but then he understands if A&M gets benefit of doubt, or if A&M is just viewed that lofty, the rest of the SEC teams' profiles get a bump up the ladder too. So there could come a time where there's a debate on Selection Sunday about whether Ole Miss deserves to be 7 or 6 or maybe 9 or 8, and therefore hosting a game or going on the road for a game. So I think he understands there are a couple of purposes behind that. But yeah, even if Ole Miss were 8-4 and they're not in the conversation right now, he'd probably still say everything about A&M that he said. He'd be right about it. The only thing I hate, and I did not hear him, I just looked at the quotes.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the internet's word for it. Only thing I hate, and he's done this a couple of times now, is he's talked about who would be favored on a neutral field as it relates to deciding this stuff. Now, you know me. I do the neutral field favorability every week. I do power ratings every week. I do those way more than I do rankings. But every time I do them, I say, this is just for predictive purposes. This is to have a different tool in the marketplace. In no way do I think this is the way the playoff should be seeded, because it does not matter what the point spreads would be. It doesn't matter who would be favored. It matters what's happened on the field. That's why you play the games. The only spot that I've ever believed Vegas-based odds making and power ratings have in this formula is strength of schedule. Because I think if you took Vegas rankings or power ratings and you determine strength of schedule off of those numbers, then it would be a lot fairer and a lot cleaner metric than like what, let's say, we'll listen to tonight. Tonight, we will listen to that committee say, Oregon's got one good win, the one they just got against Iowa. And I'll sit there and think, but they went on the road against Penn State when Penn State's season was still alive. And they killed Penn State's season. And now Penn State's fallen off a cliff. So it's going like this. Here's the line, here's the line, here's the line. Oh, they're off a cliff. But Oregon played them here before the game and before the team fell off a cliff. The Vegas odds-making perspective, the power rating perspective, would properly define the value of that win on the road against Penn State for Oregon. The way we currently do it will not properly define the strength of that win.
Josh, something you said earlier caught my attention, talking about Ole Miss, where they could fall 7, 8, 9. You know, you were talking hypotheticals. And in that world, an 11-1 Ole Miss team, like, to me, I think they're going to be 11-1. I just don't see another loss on their schedule. I guess Mississippi State, because it's a rivalry game, but I don't see a loss. They got, 2 left? Florida, Mississippi State. So is an 11-1 SEC team really potentially dropping that far down?
I don't think so. So I think I said that hypothetically. More likely, Ole Miss is fighting for the 6 seed or the 7 seed or something like that. They're not if they got one loss, they're not dropping past that line of hosting a game, which is 8, versus being on the road, which is number 9. I don't even know what else would have to happen for that to occur. So they're pretty locked in. I mean, they control their own fate. I told you a couple of weeks ago, I think the Kentucky game in 2024 and 2025 is the differentiator for Ole Miss. It's just that they lost the Kentucky game last year inexplicably, and it took away all their breathing room. This year they went on the road. It was close, but they beat Kentucky, and that's given them all the breathing room in the world, and now they've taken care of business elsewhere.
Josh, do you see a world where a 10-2 SEC team doesn't get in?
Yeah, Vandy would be the only one. That's the only one I could potentially see. I was just doing this morning because everybody's trashing Greg Sankey right now because he was speaking somewhere and he talked about how 6, 7, or 8 SEC teams could make it. I'm not with him on 8, but 7 absolutely could. Let me rephrase this. They could have 7 playoff-worthy teams. I don't know what the committee would do about it, but look, I'm going to lay a scenario out here for you right now.
Okay.
Vandy and Texas and OU went out. That's it. That's all that has to happen. That would require OU to beat Alabama. Texas has got to win a couple of big games. So I'm not saying it's likely. It's not crazy, though. It's not like 1 in 1,000. If those 3 things happen, we end up with 7 SEC teams with 2 losses or fewer. Several of them 1 loss. Who do you look at and say you're out? The only way, the only data point, the only logic at that point that you could use to leave a team out is to just look them in the eye and say, sorry, we already got too many SEC teams in here, which is not supposed to matter. But that's the only way I could see you getting left out. And it would probably be Vanderbilt based on what I'm looking at. But can you imagine Vandy being left out so we can prop up a G5 team that's not in the top 25? Vandy being left out so the ACC's conference champ that may have 3 losses, if it's Duke, they could be a 4-loss team, has a spot in the tournament. There would be people who yell, this is why we should expand it more. And they would have all the wrong arguments behind why we should expand it more. But that's my hope. My hope is we don't come to that so that bad faith actors in the room can say, well, we could solve this problem if we expanded the playoff. No, you could solve it by properly stating your criteria and keeping it right at 12 where it already is.
Josh, earlier in the show, we were celebrating where I was right about something in college football, but here's somewhere I was wrong. I thought we might have 2 9-3 teams before the season in the SEC championship game. We're not going to get that, man. We're not going to get one 9-3 team.
The only one. So this is why I did the A&M Texas thing the other day so I could have fun with this exercise, because it looks like a 3-loss Texas is the closest shot that we would have to that. I don't know if it would happen, but just to play it out, Texas goes and loses by 3 against Georgia this weekend. They beat A&M to end the season. They're 9-3. It would come down to who they were being compared against. And remember, they would really have to be top 10. Because if you're 11th or 12th, like Alabama last year, you're getting bumped out because one of the auto bid teams has to take the 12 spot and maybe the 11 spot. So I think I don't know what the percentages would be. I don't know that little calculator ESPN has, what it would say the odds would be. But it looks like Texas would be the one that still has a kind of okay shot, depending on the nature of their 9. Like, they can't go get blown out. They can't, lose by 30 and then go win. That wouldn't have to be it. So it'd have to be close loss, really good win. They need to lose this weekend, the road game, and then win the home game against A&M and make their last data point an emphatic one. But I don't know if they'd put them in. Oklahoma, what's crazy is, I remember doing the show in the preseason, we were talking about which 3-loss teams could make it. We said Florida could, moot point. We said Oklahoma. I thought Oklahoma could, because Oklahoma's preseason schedule looked extremely tough. I'm not saying it hasn't been tough. It just looks like the computers are saying, well, if OU's got 3 losses and Texas has 3 losses, Texas has got the head-to-head, so you can't put Oklahoma above Texas, which is fair. I guess that is fair. So Texas is like some natural barrier to a 3-loss Oklahoma.
Let me just throw out this scenario. It's not going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen. But 10-2 A&M team, a 10-2 Notre Dame team, a 10-2 Miami team. I'm trying to think anybody else that really matters in this conversation. I mean, that would be a horrific ending for A&M. But, what happens in that scenario?
Who are the 2 losses? You're talking about 2 regular season losses for A&M?
Yeah.
All right. A&M should still be in. I think you and I both know the talking point would be A&M is ice cold right now. Notre Dame's red hot right now. Those games happened way earlier in the season. I think they'd end up giving the bump to Notre Dame. Because Notre Dame's the one, just like I told you in week 3, I said, if Notre Dame runs the table, they will get in the playoff. The reason they'll get in the playoff is because they want to put them in the playoff, firstly. Secondly, they will use arguments like, well, those games were a long time ago, week 1 and 2. This is a different team now. They're obviously, by default, they'd have to be red hot because they will have won 10 straight games to end the season. And so the committee would say, we're judging the team as it is right now. And A&M's team right now faltered down the stretch. Notre Dame's team got hot at the right time. We want to reward teams that keep improving. There is logic on the surface behind that way of thinking, but that's not written into their protocol, is the problem. Just like a couple of years ago, when Florida State had the quarterback go down, all of a sudden, the week leading up to the final selection, Bill Hancock was doing an interview, who was the committee chair at the time, and he just voluntarily said, most deserving team is not even in our lexicon. We're just looking for best team. Well, that swerved everything. Because if you're just looking for best team, that changes who should get in. We're not talking about most deserving anymore. So I remember I had said on my show, it's going to be a complete crime if Florida State wins the conference undefeated and gets left out. I kept saying that. Well, then Bill Hancock goes on TV and says, oh, nope, it's not about best. It's about most deserving. So then I said, all right, well, if that's the case, then Alabama should be in. All the Florida State fans said I was a traitor and I sold out. And I didn't do anything. I adjusted my selection based on what the committee chair was saying. Just like if this were to happen, let's hope it doesn't, but if this were to happen, that's absolutely what they would say. And so then you would have to ask, okay, hot team in November, is that a data point? Are we adding that to the criteria, or is this just something we said to prop up Notre Dame?
Josh, great stuff, man. Appreciate you as always.
See you next week, David.
See you, man. Josh Pate there, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. We'll head a break. Talk to Katy Lee, a little Aggie women's basketball chit-chat here on TexAgs Live. Let's talk about preserving your farm or your ranch's legacy. It's not about capturing pretty pictures, posting something on Instagram or Facebook memories. It's about really transferring those values and what your land really means to you and understanding what it really matters for the generations that are going to inherit it. Chance McClain and his team have done these stories for a long, long time. They've interviewed thousands of people, and they discovered something profound. These aren't just businesses. They're blueprints for America. They're blueprints for your life and for building character. Thinking between timber farmers, thinking in those 100-year cycles, or the cattle ranchers preserving their traditions. Farm and Ranch Films captures the wisdom that your grandkids and their grandkids are going to need. What you need to do is reach out to Chance and his team at yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com. Get this 2-hour documentary done about your family business, your family ranch, or your family. And when you go to the website, just click on the Farm and Ranch Films. If that's what you want to do, they can also do a 2-hour documentary as well. 713-893-8341 to preserve not just your story, but your family's foundation. It's Heritage Films. All right, guys, let's talk about some new partners, Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. They're Aggie owned and operated. They are an mobile IV hydration company that was founded back in 2024. I met with Sheldon and Danny over the last week, and they're awesome people. They really know what they're doing. They're proud to serve Bryan College Station with awesome services like IV hydration, Botox, and even some weight loss options. Whether you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or dehydration preventative, they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs. And on a busy weekend, I know some of you guys might be partying a little bit too much. If that's the case, an IV can be one of the easiest ways to ensure you're receiving all those necessary vitamins and minerals that make you feel better. Their overall mission is to bring a more personalized and accessible wellness option to the broader range of clientele here in the Bryan College Station and Brazos Valley area. To book an appointment or inquire about it, just call them up or text them. 979-217-1561. Again, it's Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. Check them out. It's our friends at Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's talk a little Aggie women's basketball. They dominated their season opener, dismantling Texas A&M Corpus Christi 81-43. A little suffocating defense, a little balanced scoring. We'll talk about it on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline as we talk to Katy Lee, who played not only basketball at A&M, she also is a color commentator for them. Katy, what up?
How are you?
I miss you guys. I tell you both, Logan and you, all the time when I say we miss seeing you around. You guys are so busy just dominating Bryan College Station.
Yeah, I'm currently in New York City down in Manhattan. I'm like out of my window. I'm looking at Rockefeller Center right now. So we're here for some board meetings with Restore. So just another day in life.
All right. Well, let's talk a little Aggie women's basketball. The opener, like flying colors. What did you see? What was your big takeaway?
It's different. It's very different. I mean, the last few seasons it's been really hard to call the games, whether it's just been the personalities or the team's chemistry. There were definitely some bigger gaps at the point guard area. We've not had a true point guard in the last few years. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But it was really exciting. It's the first time I can remember in a few years that I really enjoyed sitting there watching Aggie women's basketball. And the young ladies are so good off the court. It makes them really hard not to like.
Where are some areas, because, it's only one game, but some areas that maybe you're watching, like, I got to still see this?
Yeah, that's a great, and I was looking at stats just to kind of refresh myself. They had 34 points off of 29 turnovers. That's huge. But that's a Joni Taylor type team. It's just run, defense, run, right? Offensively, where I see probably the biggest room for improvement is when they do get in those half-court offensive sets, they are going to struggle against a really competitive defensive team if they play them early in the season. I mean, right now in the preseason. As they get a little bit further into the season, I think it'll be fine. But you got to remember, there's only 3 young ladies that stayed on from last year's team, and one of them has not even seen the court up until this first game. So this is just like the men's team. It's a totally different team. They're still trying to find their team chemistry. There's some young ladies that, whether it was visas or paperwork, from overseas, we have 5 international student athletes. And so they were still waiting on paperwork to be done like mid preseason training. So their exposure to one another is getting better, but it's going to take some time.
When you mention Joni Taylor style of basketball, like kind of describe that, because it feels like the last year and a half, at least, I wouldn't say the full 2 years, that she hasn't been able to do her brand of basketball completely because of the roster issues with health and whatnot.
Yeah, you have to be able to buy into that program. I played under a defensive specialist in Vic Schaefer, back in the early 2000s, that you knew what to expect when you were playing Texas A&M, and that was in your shorts, hip-to-hip type defense, and you weren't getting any breathing room. And Joni plays a lot like that in regard to a half-court defense and a full-court press defense. Once we get into the half-court sets, she does kind of take a little bit of keep pressure on the ball, but play smart off the ball. So you create that gap off the ball, which helps them to rotate better. But Joni is known for quick pace, defense turning into offense. And I know one of her major quotes is, "We can do hard things." And so they don't take a break on the defensive end. And that's typically what her teams are known for.
You know her pretty well. Like, how has she handled the ups and downs?
A lot better than I would have. Let's be real honest. She's a remarkable coach. She is just as good off the court as she is on the court. She really thinks thoroughly through team mottos and what they mean. This team's motto is PTI, and in that order: program, team, individual, and in that order. And if you're going to come play at Texas A&M, you're going to invest in that theme, because in this era of NIL, you're not planning for a 4-year program. You're planning for a 1. And you're just trying like hell to keep that team together for a 2nd or a 3rd year. So she's handled it remarkably well. Having Darius back on the sideline, her husband, he's had an amazing career in women's basketball, all the way from, being at South Carolina, all the way up to the WNBA and being a GM for the Connecticut Sun. And I mean, his list goes on and on. So having him and that, he's not a loud voice. He doesn't overpower Joni during practices, but he is really, really good at the details. And I think that's been really good for her to have in her pocket is his support as well.
You talked about the turnovers. Pryor had 8 steals in the opener. Talk about her huge game there defensively.
So if anyone's listening and they remember just a little bit of mine and Logan's era around Aggie basketball, there's a young lady named Aquanisha Franklin. She was a All-American point guard. Nicera is just like her. She's the closest thing I've seen to a true point guard that's heady, willing to get her hands dirty. I mean, just gets after it. But she's not afraid to be the court general. And that's what you have to have, especially in growing programs, is you have to have a point guard that's doesn't wear their feelings on their shoulders and can jump someone's butt when they need to get the team back corrected and in line. It's like staying within the lines, right? That's her job, is to keep everyone else not going this way or this way. It's how can we stay in those lines and do the best that we can. And then having Lauren, where she's the emotional leader of the team. She's the grandma of the team. This is her 6th year, and she just really is. Those 2 young ladies are the glue that I think is starting to develop a really interesting team.
Looking ahead, Tarleton State, then Kansas State. Kansas State went all the way to the Sweet 16. What do you want to see this year? I mean, this upcoming stretch.
Well, Tarleton's going to be your elementary school day game, so it's 11 a.m. in the morning. There's some players that play remarkable in the morning. I mean, they really do get after it. For some reason, it's the timing that I was one of those players. I played better in the morning or the early afternoon than I did at night. And I think Tarleton, you're probably going to see a little bit about a lot of rotations, trying to find what series of girls works, what lineups work. So you're going to probably see a lot of what you saw in Corpus Christi. K-State is going to be a lot of film room prep because K-State's a formidable opponent, and that's one that they can't. That'll be the team that we start to see how good they are, how much they've learned in the film room, and then how much better they can click from person to person off the court.
Katie, I'll end on that note because just like with the men, we try to have these projections of what this team can be, but it's so new and it's so many different pieces.
Yeah.
You really can't. But I ask you why. I'm sorry, that's a joke inside of my head. But what can this team do based on what you've seen in practice, what you've seen in one game?
I think what I know about this team, how I've gotten to know this team, and knowing Joni's past and her philosophy on the court is you're going to expect a fast and furious defense. They're going to press 90 feet of the court. They're going to try to get some turnovers, create turnovers that creates offense. You can't really predict this team. What we see off the court, we're now, for the first time in a few years, seeing a little bit of that camaraderie and that belief and like, hey, my sister has my back kind of thing on the court that very first game. They'll get a little extra practice against Tarleton, and then they go to K-State, and we're going to really see what they've learned and what they haven't. But this team is the one projection I can make is that you can control effort, and that's what they're coaching right now. So this team will be fun because the effort will be there.
Katie, great stuff. Enjoy New York. We'll see you soon, okay?
All right. Thanks, David.
Thank you. Katy Lee there on the Puppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll have her more often here on the program. It's going to be a fun season for Aggie women's basketball. We'll hit a break. And right now, Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. They're Aggie owned and operated. You got to meet Sheldon and Danny. They're awesome, and they really love this community. But they're proud to serve Bryan College Station with great services, and they'll bring it all to you. It's an IV hydration company. Also does Botox and weight loss options. So if you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or a dehydration preventative, they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs, and it's going to help you feel a lot better. So when you're doing yard work, you're outdoors doing whatever, you're just busy being a parent, being a worker, whatever it may be, they can take great care of you and make you feel better. So if it's a busy weekend, their overall mission is to bring you a personalized, accessible wellness option to the broad range of clientele in the Brazos Valley area. To book an appointment or inquire about their services before an event, you can call or text them 979-217-1561. That's 979-217-1561. It is Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. Check them out. This has nothing to do with what we're about to talk about, but I just saw this from Shams. I don't know if anybody cares. I know Nick doesn't care, but I care. Breaking news, the Dallas Mavericks and owner Patrick Dumont are expected to fire general manager Nico Harrison at a 10 a.m. Central meeting on Tuesday, sources tell Shams and Tim McMahon. They should have done that a long time ago when they traded Luka. Anyway, let's talk about a team that wins and doesn't break your heart. That's Jamie Morrison and the Aggie women's volleyball team. Of course, their women's volleyball team. Jamie, good morning, buddy. Look at that good cup of coffee.
Man. Yeah, what a segue there. Let's go straight from there. I'm hoping those two things aren't related. It's good to see you.
Great to see
Sorry
you,
I can't
man.
be in studio today.
All good.
Yeah.
All good. So let's just talk about the start of our interviews. It depends what we're talking about usually here. But the start of our interviews are typically like, let's talk about the vibes, man. Another good week.
Yeah, no, another good week. And we headed off to a really good opponent in Auburn. And I think I keep saying this, and it's not that I don't know, I'm just giving these teams lip service. They're all really, really good. And Auburn was flirting with the top 25 earlier in the year. They run a really fast offense. I think leading into our match, they were first in the conference in blocks per set. And I thought we did a really, really good job taking care of the game plan. And that was the thing I was most fired up because we came out of that.
The fact that this team, and I feel like I do this every week too, I compare you guys to football because there's some similar things happening. Does not matter the test that's put in front of you. This team seems to either win or learn from a mistake. And right now is a lot more winning and learning from maybe not all the success you want, because sometimes you have some adversity taking on elite teams like you have.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think even, I don't know, we went back, we had to face a different test just that we saw in Auburn. So we held off on kind of teaching some stuff from the Texas match, but we won that match, and going back and looking at it, it's like, all right, how do we get this 2 points better the next time we play? So actually worked on some stuff in practice that could come to fruition and helping us beat Florida, but just some adjustments that we can make in match. So I think we're doing a good job of learning from our mistakes within wins also. But we're continuing to get better every single day, every single match.
Do you have like a timeline in your head, or maybe not timeline, but like a flow of how you want things to be as the regular season ends and the postseason begins?
Yeah, there's a desired flow. Like obviously you want to be playing your best, feeling your best as you kind of get into postseason. It can't always work out that way. Just the season's a grind, and you're going to have ebbs and flows in terms of both of those things. So there's definitely what you want, but then I think each team is its own little organic, I don't know, living being that you got to make sure you take care of in the right way at the right time. So I think we're trending in the right direction there, though, like in terms of getting to where you think this team can be heading into that postseason. But we still have a little bit of work to do, but still have a little bit more time.
I think what you did this, with your schedule is brilliant. You had a very tough non-conference schedule, plus you have a very tough conference that you play in, the very best in the country. And I think all those reasons are why we're seeing the success right now, right? Like you've taken on those challenges, you keep taking on those challenges, and it's hopefully to prepare you for what could be a long run.
Yeah, no, and if you look back early on, we just had a bunch of back-to-back away matches. And it was having to prepare for different teams, and each one play with a different style. And it's kind of similar to what we were going to see in conference. That again, we're going to have one team that runs lightning fast over the weekend, and then we're going to have one team that's really high and kind of physical. And we got that over and over again. And I think we stressed the system during the non-conference piece. And I actually like the way that our conference schedule was laid out a little bit. Just in terms of, I don't know, we're kind of stressful at the beginning, then we got into a rhythm of kind of being Friday, Sunday, and then all of a sudden we're kind of thrown into this rhythm again this week with the Wednesday match. But I think that gets us ready for the postseason, which is going to be 3 matches in 3 days, which is throwing ourselves into a different rhythm. And then obviously playing, I believe it's going to be a Thursday, Friday, hopefully at home, knock on wood, in the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament.
Let's talk a little bit about Emily, 15 kills against Auburn, just her development this year.
I think the cool thing is, and I gave her a giant high five yesterday, just in terms of, and she just looked at me. It was like everything we worked on that morning. It was like all of a sudden it was coming, and literally that was a work in progress. It served pass earlier that morning. Hey, we're going to try to work with a few different things on range, and she kind of pulled all those tools together at the same time, and hopefully that sticks. And I have no doubt that it is. She's working her butt off to get better in that phase. So. And I've said this from the very beginning, like her, but all of us are going to continue to get better as this thing goes on, even into the postseason. And I'm proud of her that she put in the work and that she got to see that work come to fruition.
Jamie, you're about to take on a Florida team that's only lost twice at home. They're a very good team. Talk to me about the challenges of facing this one.
Yeah, they're physical. I think the two things, like a physical, and then we're playing home. It's not an easy place to go down and play. It's the same as football. It's the same as volleyball. But they're well coached. They play good volleyball. They're going to, I don't know, throw some different challenges at us. And I think the thing that's cool, going back to what you said, is we've had different pieces of different matches that we can pull on. Like, hey, remember when we played this team? We got to make sure we pull that door scouting report. And when we did this against this team, and we're starting to be able to have these experiences where it went well of just doing like, hey, we need to do what we did against this team to go take care of this. And then rotationally, or we need to serve the way we went and played Oklahoma. I don't throw names out there, but we have a lot kind of in the cookie jar that we can go back to that went well, that we can just pull back out and do again.
Any books you're starting right now? Because you gave me a suggestion last week, the 4-Hour Body Diet from Tim Ferriss. So I did start that. Yeah. What are you on right now?
I'm reading a book called Resilience. I don't know the author right now, but it's actually, I started it, got halfway through, and I'm going through that again right now.
Okay.
And then there was something else I had just added to the list yesterday. It was something actually that Lindsay recommended, but I can't remember what it was.
Hey, you all haven't had 20 win seasons back to back since 2015, 2016. Just how much pride, how much pride do you take in the way you all not only are playing, but are able to start setting this standard for A&M volleyball?
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I'm proud of. That it's not the norm, because I don't think it's something that can happen every year. But I think right now we did it again. I'm like, oh yeah, of course we did. That's part of the process right now. And we're doing it because of the process and the way we're going about our volleyball matches. But I remember before I came in here, that was kind of the litmus test of a good season. Was, can you get to 20 wins? And I think the thing I'm also proud of it is we're playing less matches than most teams do. Just our non-con isn't as packed at least as it used to be. We're used to play 12 matches over 4 weeks there. We're usually playing around 9 or 10 right now. So the fact that we got there this early, we still have 2 more matches, obviously, in the regular season. And then we have the SEC tournament, and then we have the NCAA tournament. So we're hoping to add to that. But I just think the thing that I'm proud of, and I talk to my staff and they're proud of, and I'm proud of them, it's just what we've built in a really short period of time. I think it's a program that people see as being able to do that year in and year out now. And that's the thing that probably, I don't know, hits me the hardest. That gave me a smile when it did happen. Just how quickly we've gotten it back to where it had been. How difficult is it to convey that to a younger person? Like, hey, just follow the process. You're not going to see this seismic shift right away. You just got to stay consistent and you will see the change. I don't know if they ever fully recognize it until they look back at where they were. This is the same thing for me. Like I know I'm a better volleyball coach right now than I was 4 years ago, but whenever I actually take myself back to where I was 4 years ago, I put myself in those shoes, I'm like, man, I've learned a lot. So I don't think that's an athlete condition. I think it's a human condition where we don't necessarily realize the small little changes. I'm sure the same thing for you. You've gotten better at this job as you've been in it for longer, but you don't necessarily realize the small changes that are happening every single day. They just add up over time. So you can say it till you're blue in the face. And I have a 20% rule. If I catch 20% of them and it catches on with them, I'm doing my job at a really high level. But especially those lifelong lessons. So I think some of them realize it in the moment, but I think for the majority of us, and again, myself included, I'm a human being. I think it's one of those things that comes with time when you start to look back at yourself and realize it was those small little things, or it was the difficult moments. I remember early on in my career, all these little things that I had to take care of logistically, maybe into a better coach today that I am. So, but at the time it was annoying. So I think it's something that comes with experience. Good luck, my friend, tomorrow. We'll talk to you next week. Appreciate it. And again, Sunday, I'm just going to throw a little teaser out there. We do have our last, regular season home match, and hopefully there's more to come after that. But last chance to see this group for sure. Tailgating's become a thing. So if you want to get there early and show up early with a seat, something to eat and a beverage, and enjoy yourself. Everybody needs to come out. Thank you, sir. Good luck. We'll see you. We'll watch tomorrow. We'll see you on Sunday. Thanks. That's Jamie Morrison on the Bucky's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Appreciate his time. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with a short final segment of the 9 o'clock hour before Jordan Pugh and a bunch of stuff planned for the 10 o'clock Aggies Can Academy. And we'll also talk to a South Carolina insider, JC Shurburtt. Right now, let's talk about the Rollo Insurance Group. Insurance decisions shouldn't be made like that, right? Especially when it comes to your life and you want an agent that's going to know your situation, right? Exactly
Like, why would you want somebody to just kind of uses this little template, like, this is what I'm going to give you? That's not what Rollo does. They personalize it because they get to know you and your needs. And if it's car insurance, if it's home insurance, ranch insurance, whatever it may be, Rollo is going to tailor a plan specific to your needs. That's what they've been doing for a long time. They're super local, but they're also big, right? They're all over Texas. They're all over the country, but they are local. Their headquarters is right here in College Station on Highway 6. What you need to do is visit their website, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That's rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That's 888-44-ROLLO. And we're back. We're here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Not my most professional look, so I'll go straight television guy. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley, tell me something good.
Yes, so I know we just talked about volleyball, but I want to bring up some notes from their past game. Kozak Paula became the fourth member of Texas A&M's 500 block club with her third of the game.
Yep.
Lednicki moved up to number 5 in career kills at Texas A&M with her fifth of the night, 1,519. And Texas A&M's win ensured back-to-back 20-win seasons for the first time since 2016. I thought that was awesome.
That is great. Hey, I got to read this. Wes Bodovich, who played football at A&M, he's promoting an event called The Game Before the Game. They're looking for any former Aggie or Longhorn players that'd be interested in attending just to hang out and reconnect, or even play in the first annual The Game Before the Game charity 7v7 with Aggies versus former Longhorns at 11:30 at the Texas School for the Deaf in Austin on November the 28th. They're also looking for some help to raise money for the community. Brazos Valley Youth Sports Association, Taylor Whitley Show Up Foundation, Derek Johnson's Defend the Dream Foundation, Texas School for the Deaf program, both Letterman associations. You can check out the rosters that have already signed up and everything on their Facebook page, The Game Before the Game. And I don't have the roster in front of me right now, but there are some cool names on there. So if you want to go watch and support, help them out, Wes would really appreciate it. All right, we're going to hit a break. When we come back on this show that we call TexAgs Live, we're going to keep it real. Jordan Pugh. I don't know why I said Pew, but we're going to have Jordan Pugh on the show. That's next on TexAgs Live. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. I see a man with a confident grin on his face. What's up, Jordan Pugh?
What's going on, man? I'm doing good, man. I'm living good. Good weekend, good start to the week. How you doing?
I'm great. So I see a kind of a confident look in your eyes. And
yeah,
I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience. And I feel bad about my experience, okay? I feel bad. Our team just went on the road and beat Missouri by 21 points, right?
Yeah.
In a game that really A&M dominated, let's be honest, right? And I unfortunately was nitpicking. And I don't know why. I'm enjoying the journey, right? But I'm going to find myself
Trauma.
Trauma,
man.
Trauma. It is. but they're really good, Jordan.
Yeah. Well, I finally convinced myself. I think that we're the best team in the country. The more and more that the weeks go by, I watch us. We improve every single week. Now, of course, we got things to fix, right? So we'll get into that, of course. And I'm always going to find something with the coach hat on. But when I look at us, man, we can beat you in so many different ways. We can beat you in every facet of the game. We can beat you throwing it. We can beat you running it. We can beat you with defensive play. We can make big time stops in crucial situations. We can beat you on special teams. The more and more that I watch us, the more and more I'm like, man, I think I have to finally just break down and say that I think that we're the best team. Now, we have to finish the task, of course, right? That's where the trauma comes in. That's where that battered Aggie syndrome comes in. But, man, when you look at it for what it is, you're looking at a 9-0 team. You're looking at a team that went on the road for 3 straight weeks, went out and dominated people. You're looking at what we've done as far as how we put together a complete offense, how we balance each other. We're rotating in 92 different running backs. There's no drop off, right? You're looking at what we're doing from an explosive play standpoint. Man, I can't see anything where it doesn't say that we're not the best. And then you look at the resume that we have, the teams that we've beaten. I think that's where we belong. Now, from a standpoint, game-wise, I think that we started slow coming off the bye. A typical thing, right? One of the things that you're concerned about, but how we picked it up, the adjustments that we made once again at halftime, coming out at halftime and just putting our foot on their throat, choking them out. Man, this team is impressive. It's very impressive. I'm very confident in what we can do moving forward, man, finishing the season out, making that playoff push. It's exciting, man. And if you're an Aggie fan, you need to be excited because everything that they're showing you a grit, they're showing you a blue-collar attitude, but you're seeing the word culture that everybody says. You're seeing the culture being put on display each and every week. Man, I'm loving what this team is doing.
So I'm watching this game on Saturday, and I'm like, they're winning, they're in control, yada yada yada, but they're not running the ball that well. And then the fourth quarter happens, and they outrush Missouri, and Ruben's got the 57-yard touchdown, and it's like that's what happens with this team, right? Like I call it a slow drip, but like they're just going to punish you in certain ways. They're going to give you the jab, and then comes that knockout blow. And I feel like the fourth quarter is they own it on multiple levels, but especially when they have to control the line of scrimmage and run the ball.
They break your will. That's the thing that I love the most out of this team is the way that they finish people. That was the biggest thing that we harped on all of last year, right? The ending of last year, we did not finish well. What you're seeing is a team that constantly finishes games. Now, look, let me expand on the point that I made where I think we're the best team. When I watch us, and that has everything to do with, like you said, the fourth quarter, when I watch us play, we're playing against very good football teams. I think the way that we have beaten our opponents, man, has lessened I think in people's eyes, man, the type of talent, the type of teams that we're playing. And then when you watch how we're finishing games, when you watch how we're closing it out, we are leaving no doubt that we are by far the superior opponent. But you're watching us finish games out, and you're watching us do it decisively on the offensive side of the football, how we run it out, especially in 4-minute situations. You're watching us on the defensive side of football continue to create turnovers, get off the field on long down and distances. Man, we just continue to just take hope away from people. And that is the most beautiful thing. And we're clicking at the right time. It seems like each and every week there is something else that we are improving on. And that's what you want to see in a team that's making this run. So, man, like you said, it's like a slow drip. It's like a slow burn, the way that we just drown you. We take you to deep waters and we watch you drown out. That's the most exciting thing with this team.
All right, what is something that maybe concerns you? And I'm going to assume it's the rush defense at times.
Run game and penalties. All right. So there was an opportunity in the game. I can't remember what quarter. I want to say it was in the first half. We had a penalty that hurt us. But we've kind of gotten better at that. But when you look at the run defense, and you look at the type of matchups that we're going to be playing in the playoffs, you're going to have to be able to shore that up, right? So when you look at teams that can control the clock, they can be able to utilize that run game to open up the pass, like a team like an Ohio State. You look at kind of what Indiana's doing. One of the teams that I don't want to run into in the playoffs is Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is clicking. When you look at those type of teams who can manipulate the clock, but they also have the playmakers on the outside, that is going to be something that's going to bite us in the butt if we don't fix that, right? So remember, we talked about this early in the year, man. We have to handle first and second down in order to earn the right to run the rush the passer on third down. So we're seeing those little things they're coming up, and for those elite teams, they could take advantage of that. But I also watch us counter that. I also watch us go in and make adjustments, and we continue to make those plays. That's why I have the confidence as well. It's not that teams are just bleeding us and dripping us on big runs. We are making adjustments within that, and we're coming back, and man, we're stifling those. So that's the biggest concern that I have right now, right? As far as that run game on defense. Offensively, man, we continue to just we just pile on points because we have playmakers everywhere. But from that defensive standpoint, we get that short up, we're a tough team to beat.
Talking to Jordan Pugh here on TexAgs Live. All right, let's talk about something I really like on this defense, and that's the ability to get after the quarterback, because I just saw a couple plays here, Sanford and Cassius and whatnot. Just what about that?
Sanford, he's making a case for co-MVP. The way he's been playing, it's been phenomenal. I think that he's graded out well. My man Will Lee is coming on. The more and more these past couple of weeks, he's starting to step up. He's starting to play more consistent. That's really good to see. I think Ratcliffe is going unnoticed. I think that the way that he's played, the type of plays that he's made hasn't necessarily been tackles, hands on ball. It's a lot of where his positioning is that's ruining a lot of plays. You look at the all-22 and you look at where he's at. He is, manipulating a lot of what the offense is doing based off body position. And I think that he's going unnoticed a lot. But, of course, we got Cassius Howe. You know what that is, right, what he's doing off the edge. I think that we're playing complementary ball in all three phases and all three levels of the defense. And so from the front line to the linebacker position to the DB position, everybody has elevated their game. And then when you look at what Chappelle is doing in the slot, he's another one that's going unnoticed. Everything is starting to mesh together, right? So remember, I told you, defense is controlled chaos. The one thing that I love the most about what we're doing defensively is the defensive line is creating that chaos up front. You're seeing the complementary ball take place in the second levels with the linebackers and with the DBs, and they're countering off of what our pass rush is doing. So it's allowing Elko to be able to run a lot of exotic fronts, manipulate a lot within the secondary. It's beautiful to watch. But man, when you look at what Sanford's doing, you look what Cassius Howe's doing, man. Those two. They have been phenomenal this year. They have been the workhorses and the stalwarts, man, in this defense. If they continue to do this, man, there's more turnovers. There's more ways that we get the ball back to the offense based off their play. But it allows us to manipulate what we want to do on defense and dictate to the offense what they can and can't do against us.
Talking to Jordan Pugh here on TexAgs Live. Jordan, this is a question about A&M, but really it's about everybody. At this point in the season, 9 games in, you are who you are, right? I think you can improve in areas, but and there's a couple teams that I'm not sure who they are, and I'll be very honest. We can get to talk about them in a minute, but with Texas A&M, I feel like we know who they are. They're usually pretty good at stopping the run, but not always. They will control the line of scrimmage. You're going to get really good quarterback play, if not great, elite from Marcel Reed.
Yep. When you look at us, man, we're an explosive team offensively. We're a team that can hit a home run at any point in time, so that makes us dangerous. Defensively, we're a team that creates chaos, but most importantly causes confusion, which leads to turnovers, which leads to long down and distances. But at the end of the day, what we are, we're a 12-round prize fighter. That's what we are. We fight you round 1, round 2, round 3. We continue to throw punches and throw blows until we hit you with the knockout punch. And those are the teams, man, that you hate to face, because those are the teams that can beat you in multiple ways. They can manipulate you in multiple ways, but at the end of the day, they have the grit and they have the fight in order to take you out. That's who we are as a team. We're a physical football team that you could tell that is playing well, that is clicking all cylinders, but you're seeing a cohesive group move together. That is what you want to see in a team, man, that is making a championship run. So when you look at us, man, we're a physical football team, but most importantly, we're an explosive football team. That's a dangerous combination.
All right. I'm only asking because, actually, I'll get to that in a second, because I told you about teams that I don't know about. I'll get to that in a moment. But let's talk about this game in particular, about South Carolina, because I don't feel like we've done enough about that. To me, this is a revenge game if I'm an Aggie. All right? We all are Aggies. We're watching the show pretty much. It's a revenge game because they ended your season basically last year, right? That was the knockout blow that started the tidal wave, not the slow drip, right?
Yeah.
You've got a quarterback that you could not take down. Everybody else took him down. Even though he had a great year, you could not sack him. And you got a coach, and I like Shane Beamer. A lot of people don't. I like him. But I was made aware that he said that they were the 12th man last year. He goes, the real 12th man, or however he phrased it at the end of that game. I took that as a shot. Obi didn't think it was a shot. He was just propping up his team. But I like to get angry. People know that about me. Little man syndrome, apparently. So I say all that to you. How big is this game?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. Like, look, we know this about the SEC. Anybody can win on any given Saturday, but South Carolina possesses the talent level in order to give us problems, right? You saw what they did last year. You know what Lenore Sellers at quarterback, you know what he can do. You know what the guys that have mobility can do to us as a defense. Let's go back to the Arkansas game. Remember, we're talking about that, and we're talking about one of the things that concerns us is, one, Petrino's play calling, but two, the mobility of the quarterback. That opens up a lot more offensively. It forces you to be more sound and more disciplined on defense. So now when we look at that from just a defensive standpoint on our end, matching up with them offensively, the discipline factor is going to be huge here. Being able to stay in the rush lanes, understanding how we have to attach on to receivers, because one of the things that hurt us was a lot of the scramble drills last year as well, letting guys run free when we thought Sellers was going to be able to break. So, man, the discipline factor is going to be key. Offensively, they have a defensive line, man, that's talent-wise one of the best in the country, right? So now, how do we stifle them? I think we counteract that because we have a guy in the pocket who can move, who can make plays. We're clicking on all cylinders with threats on the outside. We can go on and on about that. But from a skill set and talent standpoint, they match up well. But I just think right now what we're doing as a team, as a unit, the way that we're clicking and running, and they're coming into our plays too as well, I don't think that is going to bode well for South Carolina. I just think that everything that we're doing right now is hitting on all cylinders, and I just think we keep that train rolling moving forward.
All right, so teams that I'm not sure I know. Texas, a team that's on A&M's schedule, okay?
Yeah.
There's moments I'm like, man, maybe they figure things out, right? Like what they did against Vandy. That was an impressive 3 quarters of football. The fourth quarter, not so much. The comeback against Mississippi State, I don't think they should have been in that position, but they get credit for that comeback. But it's still like, offensively, I think A&M is superior to Mississippi State. The Kentucky game goes into overtime against a team that at that point couldn't move the ball at all. And, you know, they came away with a win. Got to give them props. They beat up Oklahoma. So that's something that, like, okay, well, Oklahoma still got a chance to make it to the playoffs. But I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I know who they are. Do you know who they are?
Texas is a talented team that lacks an identity. I think when they play Georgia this week, I think Georgia's going to bludgeon them. That's what I think, because the one thing that you know about Georgia is that they have talent, but they're a physical football team. They're a blue-collar football team. They're a team kind of like us this year. I think we mirror each other where they're going to fight you in a phone booth, and this is what we do. Stop it. I just think that Texas, their talent allows them to stay in games, but I don't think this year in particular, their culture and their identity will allow them to sustain. I don't see a tough football team. I don't see a mentally tough football team. I just see a very talented football team. That's what I think the difference is. When you look at, Texas and you compare that against us, both super talented, both have playmakers, but I think you see a mentally tough football team that is focused on one goal, one prize. I think that's the difference. I think Georgia will expose that this weekend. I love the way that Georgia is playing. I love the resilience. I love what they did against Mississippi State. I don't know how Texas matches up. I think they mentally break Texas as the game goes on.
Talking to Jordan Pugh here on TexAgs Live. Georgia is another team that I don't really think I know. I know Kirby Smart. I know the level of team they always bring. I know what they did this past weekend against Mississippi State. I'm like, all right, they figured it out again. They're back, right? But I've also seen a lot of these tight games that I'm wondering, and comeback games. So do you feel like you know them now?
Yeah, Georgia's the team that's built on culture. It's built on what Kirby has built over all these years. That's why they're always in every game. That's why they're never out of it. You already know from a talent standpoint where they're going to be. That's just what it is. They have dudes everywhere. But what you're seeing right now in the Georgia team is you're seeing a cohesive unit that understands their identity, but understands the wants and needs of the coach. Kirby has built that over time. And what you're seeing is culture win right now this year for Georgia over everything. I think talent is evened out. It has been dispersed through the SEC throughout the country, but the culture understanding the why, the want to, but most importantly, the championship mentality that Georgia has. That's what's winning them games. And I think that's what you're seeing, man, in these tight, close matchups like they've had week in and week out. But I think you saw it kind of go over the top and really shine last week against Mississippi State. You saw the Georgia really elevate themselves, right? Because now it's championship time. Now it's that November time. Guys are making the run. And this is when you see those type of teams stand out. And that's what you're seeing Georgia do. So I think I know who they are, man. They're built off the toughness, the grit, but they have a championship DNA in them that makes them tough to beat.
What about Bama? A team that has won some really good games. They had the Florida State loss early. I think they've evolved from then. I hold it against them in a tiebreaker, but I don't hold it against the kind of quality of team I think they are. But I do think some of these games have been closer than I would expect, including the LSU game.
So I'm watching the game this past weekend. I called my dad, and I told him, I said, man, I think we get on an even field with them. We go to Atlanta. We beat Alabama, and I think we beat them soundly. I think Alabama is very talented. I think Alabama is very good. There's something, and I'm kind of with you on this, they're lacking something. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if maybe it's just the Nick Saban effect. I don't know what it is. But when I watch them, they give me two things. I know that they're dangerous. I know that they can beat us. But then at the same time, I'm very confident that we can beat you by 2 scores. It's kind of one of those type of teams. But they're the type of team, if you let them hang around, you give them any type of light, they take full advantage of it. I think Florida State was the best thing that happened to them because that woke them up. But also at the same time, when I'm looking at them, I'm looking at the state of the SEC. I'm looking at where we are. I don't know how well they match up with us. I just think, man, the way that we're playing, the way that we're a cohesive unit, I don't see a team in the country that's better than us right now. I just don't. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe Ohio State, maybe, but I have yet to see Ohio State challenge. What do they look like when they're punched in the face? I just think with our resume, everything that we've done, our identity allows us to be that top team.
All right, Jordan, last thing for you. Okay, you think A&M is the best team in the country, and you always tell me the truth. When we suck, you tell me, so you always keep it real.
Yep.
Who in the SEC, though, do you think is not a great matchup for A&M? Let's say in the SEC championship game. Is it Georgia because they kind of mirror what A&M's all about? Is it Ole Miss that Lane Kiffin's got, a way of spreading you out, running the ball down your throat as well? Like, he's just a master offensively. Is it Texas? Is it who is that team that you think isn't a good matchup for A&M?
Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is the one. When you look at Georgia, I think Georgia is a very good football team, but they're a one-dimensional football team. But that one dimension that they have, they're very good at it, right? Ole Miss can beat you like us. They can beat you multiple ways. And I think that Lane has found his guy at quarterback. They found their identity and their core of who they want to be offensively, and they got that thing rolling. I just think that offensively for Ole Miss, they possess a lot of the weapons that can beat us. They can run the football, but they have a quarterback who is just like Marcel Reed, and that's the X factor, right? So when you look at that matchup, I think, man, we're mirror images of each other. I think defensively they're playing well. They're making plays from that standpoint, but receiver for receiver, quarterback for quarterback, when you look at the offensive scheme that they have, that is the one matchup that would scare me. And I think that's the one coordinator who could go against Elko and they can go blow for blow when it comes to the game planning, the scheme, and the play calling. So that's the one that would intrigue me and keep me up at night.
Jordan, I appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Let's do it.
Take care. Jordan Pugh there on the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. All right, let's hit a break. We'll talk a little Aggies can on the other side. Right now, if you're looking for a reason to move back to Aggie land, or you are already in Aggie land and you need a job, I've been telling you about it, go to the Association of Former Students and just demand a job. Maybe don't do that, but just see what's open, because they have opening in marketing and fundraising and sales, communications, a lot of different types of openings there, and you'll work for the Premier Alumni Association. They play a part in every Aggie story from howdy to here. Don't miss out with opportunities to help them out during their awesome events held throughout the year. You've got the Aggie Reading Day, you got class reunions, you got Aggie Muster, you got Howdy Socials, and you can join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. So if you're interested in joining a team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit, where is it? There it is. tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association of Former Students. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So Texas A&M student athletes are teaming up to fight hunger in the Brazos Valley through Aggies Can, the nation's largest student athlete volunteer-run canned food drive, now in its 25th year, running through November 30th. This year's campaign aims to provide over 50,000 meals to local families through the Brazos Valley Food Bank and the 12th Can't Food Pantry. With that, we have Alexa Long, equestrian athlete. Hello.
Yes. Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
And Ethan Silva, men's tennis athlete.
How are you?
What up?
What's up? Thanks
So
for having
you've
us.
watched the show before?
I have.
All right.
Yeah,
so
my coach was on here recently, and
okay.
I got to get a little sneak peek of it.
A little sneak peek.
Yeah.
Okay, so you watch because of your coach, not because you like what we do.
Exactly.
And you've never watched.
No, I have
Okay.
not.
So you're going to get the hard questions.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Got it. I'm ready.
So just how did you both, and you can answer whoever wants to go first, get involved with Aggies Can? If you start us off.
Yeah. So being part of SAC, I'm the president of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, also known as SAC. And every year we have Aggies Can, our annual student athlete-led food drive. And it's just a great way for us as student athletes to give back to the community that gives so much to us. And so this year, again, celebrating its 25th anniversary, we'd love for this year to be our biggest impact yet, especially with the holidays rolling around and the food banks being busy at this time of year. So yeah, we'd love to make a great cause and give back to our community.
Why'd you get involved, Ethan?
So this is actually my second year in SAC. Last year I was a rep for the tennis team, and this year I'm on the executive board for Student Athlete Experience. And last year we had a pretty good turnout with Aggies Can, and this year I'm pretty excited with just all the involvement we've had recently in this past year. And I feel like this year will really leave a pretty big impact on the community and everyone that needs our help.
Alexa, this is a big milestone, right? 25 years. Like, just talk about what it means that it's been going on so long and how big it's gotten.
Oh yeah, it's been huge. I mean, ever since I've been here, I've always heard about Aggies Can. But yeah, this year we've, to celebrate the 25th anniversary, we had Dr. Katy Lee, who is from the Mays Business School. She's a professor there. And we met with her, and she founded, one of the founders of Aggies Can when she was a student athlete here. And hearing her story and why she decided to come up with Aggies Can was so inspiring. And it really made me want to keep the initiative going for as many years as it can. And yeah, I'd love to make such a great impact this year. And it's amazing.
Ethan, so there's what's the game plan? How can people help out? There's gonna be a lot of games that you can come and bring canned goods.
So there's
to,
a lot of games coming up this weekend. You can find us at Reed Arena at the basketball game, and of course at our football game at Kyle Field next to the 12th man statue. And you can even donate online. You can go to 12thman.com/AggieCans and donate online, or directly go to an HEB or Brookshire Brother and donate there.
So you guys want to break some records, right? So
oh yeah,
we got to get people. So what do you know? I don't know if you know on the top of your head, but how well you did last year, and because you have a pretty lofty goal this year, right?
I believe last year we donated around 30,000 cans, and this year probably 50,000 is our goal, and maybe even more than that. But yeah, bring your cans to all the games so you could donate towards a great cause, get some prizes, and enjoy a great game.
So by the way, if you're watching this, well, if you are, you would know you're watching it. But those of you watching, if they don't reach their goals, our fault as TexAgs viewers and subscribers. So make sure you're helping out. Let's talk about, Ethan, just the message for this community of why you all as a group really want to make sure you do this and what that message sends out.
So I think the message that we're trying to send is, as student athletes and as A&M, we're all a family. And I feel we give back to one another and helping to one another in need. And I feel what we're doing with this is helping out our other brothers and sisters in the Brazos County Valley and helping them in their time of needs.
Now, Alexa, just to sum it up again, how people can help out, where you'll be, and all the pertinent information.
Yeah, so like Ethan said, we will be outside of Reed Arena this Friday against or with our men's basketball team, and then we'll be out next to the 12th man statue on Saturday before football, volleyball this Sunday at 12 p.m., and then next Tuesday again with our men's basketball game. So find us out around Reed Arena and have our collection boxes, and drop off some donations.
Let's break that record, guys, especially since they're here on the show. Thank you so much, both of you, for coming in. Okay?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do for this community. All right, we'll hit a break here. When we come back, we'll talk a little South Carolina football with an insider, JC Shurburtt. But right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. There's car buying, then there's the Caldwell Country Chevrolet car buying experience. It's better than any other experience you'll have out there. When you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet, you're going to get a great selection of vehicles to choose from, and you're going to get the best customer service out there. And when you buy a car from Caldwell Country Chevrolet, it's going to come with that pickup, complimentary your pickup and delivery for all their service customers, and also complimentary oil changes for life of your vehicle. So as long as you own that car, Caldwell Country Chevrolet is going to make sure that you get that for free. That's thousands of dollars of savings. We're talking about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar, I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper. Pure results is Catalyst. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. So South Carolina sits at a crossroads, 3 games remaining in a deeply disappointing season. And now they take on an uphill battle against the undefeated Texas A&M Aggies. On this show, that's why you're watching, that's why you're listening. Let's discuss it with an insider on the Puppies Catering and Bartending Hotline, JC Shurburtt of Big Spur 247, Shurburtt, I should say, not Shurburtt. JC, how you doing, buddy?
It's actually Shurburtt.
It's
just it's the German spelling. So
okay, so I said it right initially.
Shurburtt. You said it right initially. That's okay. Hey, man, I mess up so many names on my live show. I'm surprised you didn't say Shurburtt, and it's not anything with you. I think people should. It's a weird spelling. So, but yeah, Shurburtt. But it's good to be with you today, David, and to talk with this great audience that you guys have out in College Station and throughout Texas, and with the TexAgs family.
I appreciate that, JC. And it's interesting. I would love to get your perspective of what you thought this season was going to look like. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of props here because I didn't think it was going to be a good year for South Carolina. And I thought the defense lost enough pieces that they would struggle, although, you could argue that. And I thought that as good as Lenoris was last year, I didn't think the pieces around him offensively were as good. That's why I saw them taking a dip, maybe not this big of a dip. What did you think heading into the season?
Well, I'll tell you what I did not know because of the nature of the SEC and just the schedule in general, and a lot of good teams out there are in playoff contention, but I didn't expect this. And if you watch the way the season's played out for South Carolina, it's not the players. The roster is fine. The roster is just as good as it was last year. It's better in some spots. Not as good in other spots. I think obviously, you miss Nicky Manware at safety and some of those guys you had on defense, but the defense has played well enough for them to have won every single game they've played. The problem was they lost their offensive coordinator to App State, Dowell Loggins, and Shane Beamer promoted Mike Shula, who we all, everybody knows who Mike Shula is. And I just, honestly, I think that he's just kind of past his prime. I don't think that in today's college football you can run an offense like they do in the NFL. It's the same sport, different game. We've never seen that work. You guys probably remember the Mike Sherman era a little bit. It gets frustrating. And you look around college football, there's very few schools that are successful. I can't even think of one doing the types of things and calling the game sort of like he did game planning and stuff. I mean, for example, in college football, you're always going to have to work around some weakness. Very few teams don't have one Achilles heel in college. South Carolina struggles to block. So they've, for some reason this year, fancied themselves a power running team. And I'm like, against Ole Miss, and I think this was kind of what did it. They have 1:39 on the clock, down 17-7 on the road. Defense is keeping them in the game against a high-powered offense. 1:39, they're on 20, but they're huddling up and running up the middle, and Shane Beamer's going ballistic on the sidelines. They're not using timeouts. And then after the defense held again after a muff punt, they're down 9, right? Get the kickoff. They run a 12-play, 27-yard drive, which features a bunch of runs straight up the middle. And then, we probably should pass. It ran 6 minutes off the clock, and then Lenore Sellers gets sacked 2 or 3 times. I'm not saying the players have played perfect on offense. I think, Sellers specifically has regressed and is coming off his worst game I think I've ever seen him play in my life. But a lot of that's a function of just a bad plan where you're emphasizing your weaknesses and not really playing to your strengths. I mean, Lenore Sellers is not a pocket passer. People keep talking about getting him ready for the NFL. Well, who are the best quarterbacks in the NFL? 2 of them. Patrick Mahomes, what system was he in? An air raid. What system was Josh Allen in? He ran the option at Wyoming. They don't care up there. I mean, it's totally counterproductive. And Shane Beamer, the head coach, has tended to gravitate towards NFL guys. And he's made, 2 F hires at offensive coordinator and 1 C+. So there has to be some changes at South Carolina. that makes sense, that more aligns with what he does elsewhere in the program. And, I'm not trying to be a homer and say that's what it is, but when you watch him play, I mean, this team does not have bad players. Could they have gone to the playoff? I think had the ball bounced their way, maybe with a better plan. But, we were all kind of thinking 8-4, 7-5 at the worst. And now, a bowl game is probably not even going to happen.
JC, so they get the bye week, they get the new offensive coordinator. How much can that because if it's about some of the play calling, some of the structure, how much can actually change in 2 weeks?
Well, the good news, the silver lining is that the playbook, and I think whenever you get an NFL guy in there and there's some carryover from last year, the playbook's vast. And I think that's, honest to God, part of the problem with some of these quote unquote pro style guys. So, Mike Furry, the new offensive coordinator, the new play caller, what he's got to do is go, it's like a library or like Blockbuster Video back in the day. You're not going to go take home all the movies from Blockbuster, right? You're going to select and see what you want to watch that weekend. So I think that's important for him. And I just think the rhythm of how it goes, like I mentioned that drive, the 12-play, 27-yard drive, you got to mix it up. You got to be aggressive. South Carolina will run passing plays. Lewis Riddick pointed this out on the broadcast last week, where it's vertical, and you look, and there's a bunch of guys around the line of scrimmage. Lenoris is getting pressured, and then there's just green space in the middle of the field, nobody running. So little things like that, and then calling them a little faster, getting them going. There's too much thinking going on out there and all that on offense, and how much can they do in 2 weeks against a team like A&M? I don't know. I don't even know. I think most Gamecock fans and people that observe they just want it to make sense again. So not so much as, well, they're going to go in there and ambush them and light them up against a really good defense, particularly at home at Kyle Field Saturday.
Talking a little South Carolina here with JC Shurburtt. So, JC, when it comes to Shane Beamer, I feel like he's kind of a polarizing coach, and I haven't figured out the why behind it. Some people really love his personality. Certain don't. I kind of like him. You cover him. What's the feeling with him there in South Carolina, considering this year hasn't been good? Last year was really good. The year prior wasn't so good. So what's the kind of vibe there when it comes to Shane Beamer himself?
I mean, he's still well liked by I would be, I would be remiss to not. I mean, I'd be fooling you if I said people were happy. And then there is a contingent of the fan base that, would like to see him shown the door. Obviously. And unlike 2 years ago when they were decimated with injuries, there's been no injury situation. There's been no nothing. It's all kind of all roads lead to coaching and coaching decisions in many, many ways. And so that, for some members of the fan base, is a little unforgivable. I don't know, what I tell people when they say, is Beamer going to survive? I say, well, it can always get worse. And I'm not necessarily talking about this weekend. You got Coastal Carolina and Clemson to end the year. You don't want to lose to those two teams. But, some people get offended about things he says and his emotions. I don't mind that. Personally, I think most people don't. I think you want your coach to have personality. But when you're losing, that type of thing could really get under your skin a little bit. And I do think some of the things he said where he gets defensive, like after the Oklahoma game about play calling and offense, he just snapped at a reporter. That for me was not a good look, because I think coaches have a fiduciary duty to answer obvious questions these days with the money in the sport and what they're getting paid for and their responsibilities. And you have to communicate with fans because they're the ones that ultimately are funding the whole thing. And so that was not good. But other than that, some of his emotion on the sidelines and stuff. Hey, every coaches need to act like who they are and be authentic, and I don't have a problem with that.
JC, when it comes to this game in particular, I remember last year doing this same show, breaking down this game and thinking before the game, and Lenore Sellers gets hit a lot. He gets sacked a lot. That offensive line is struggling, and then A&M could not take him down at all. So if I'm an Aggie fan and I know those players, this game is personal because that's where everything went south. How much can South Carolina take what happened last year and try to apply it to this year, or are they just completely different planets, both teams?
I don't know. I mean, last year Carolina was coming off an open date too, and they did some different things. That also was I mean, I know Lenore's escaped a lot, but that also run blocking wise was the best that offensive line played all year against all those NFL dudes that A&M had. I mean, it was an above themselves type of performance on the O-line last year. And three of those guys aren't even there anymore. It's a new group. So I don't know. I think Carolina got some power runs off with Rocket Sanders last year. There's no Rocket this year. I don't see that happening. I think Carolina's should probably try to run it successfully, but they have to mix it up and balance it and do a little bit of a different attack. Now, that's not to say Lenore Sellers can't escape pressure, because he can still do that. If he's in the right situation. He did it against Alabama quite a bit, but I don't think you're going to see the same plan of attack offensively that you did last season in Columbia.
What's going to happen with Lenore Sellers and his future?
As of right now, I think he's probably going to return to college. I know there was some speculation of Todd McShay talked about Miami, and South Carolina's former director of player personnel is actually at Miami now. So, there's a relationship there, obviously. But, right before we got on, I got a pretty good tip that it's, not out of the question, and maybe even likely he returns to South Carolina next year and plays for a new offensive coordinator. South Carolina does have the NIL funds to take care of him and Dylan Stewart and some other players. And, so we'll see what happens. I wouldn't mind it myself. I think going out like this with this season would be disappointing. And I think the scouts are starting to realize, hey, this guy, probably needs, before he goes through the rookie meat grinder in the NFL and has another year where he could lose confidence, probably needs to go back to college and have some success, man. I wouldn't mind seeing that. So we'll see. I was probably 80% sure he would not be at South Carolina as of 2 days ago, but we know how that goes, man. And in this crazy college football world, things change quick.
JC, that was fun, man. Thanks so much for a few minutes here on TexAgs Live.
Hey, always great to talk to the Aggies, and after Saturday, I'll be pulling for you guys. Gig 'em.
Gig 'em, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Take care.
JC Shurburtt there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll do a final segment here on TexAgs Live. By the way, A&M fans, elevate your game day experience at the Tesla Motors Tailgate of the Future. This is hosted, by the way, by TexAgs. Discover the full Tesla lineup here at the TexAgs location. You'll have the refined Model S, the versatile Model 3, and the Model Y, in the innovative Model X and groundbreaking Cybertruck and the Explorer. I don't know why I said Cybertruck like that. I apologize to Tesla. Explore cutting-edge technology, instant torque, and sustainable performance up close. Enjoy exclusive giveaways and exciting prizes throughout the event. Capture the moment with the interactive displays and learn how Tesla is accelerating the world's transition to sustainable abundance. Join them in celebration. It is Tesla Motors at TexAgs. See you at the tailgate of an awesome future. All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas, more than an outdoor lifestyle brand. It's products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the performance polo, the Texas maroon and gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular sales that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors, designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, Dad, you look pretty good today. From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family.
Because Luke Evangelist is here, I'm going to talk about Twin Liquors.
Perfect.
Twin Liquors, Texas family owned since 1937. They have 100 locations across Texas. They're in your neighborhood. You can also shop online and pick up for delivery. Twin Liquors makes it easy to celebrate every sip, from effortless gifting with complimentary bag and bow gift wrap to custom gift baskets and perfect wine and cocktail pairings. Twin will help you celebrate in style. Have you shopped the deal of the week? You better. They got it there on their website. And wine lovers are going to love this one. The Twin Liquors holiday wine sales here. 20% off of 6+ bottles of wine. From Thanksgiving wine to sparkling with the family, Twin has the perfect pairings for you. Shop now through January the 3rd, twinliquors.com. Luke Evangelist, I don't know what you're about to do. I mean, I have a general idea, but he's about to do the new 6'7", right? Like something.
Please don't ever compare Chance to 6'7".
Well, here's the thing. Us olds are seeing Chance on the YouTube page. We're seeing Chance, Chants, Chance, on TexAgs.com, on the premium boards and other places. What the hell is Chance?
So A&M hasn't played at Kyle Field in a very long time, and A&M fans are simply excited to welcome their quarterback Marcel Reed back with Chance of Marcel Reed. You may have heard it if you've been at an A&M football game, but it feels different this time because there's reports that these chants are breaking out all over campus. People are chanting Marcel Reed's name on social media. On Twitter, you're seeing the word chants. You're seeing people reply with chills because it gives them chills.
Does he know about
to hear
this?
that chant. Marcel will be made aware of the chants movement, and it's grown a lot on Twitter in the last 24 hours. But the point of the movement is to spread awareness about Marcel Reed.
The YouTube chat is full of Marcel Reed.
Exactly.
So I heard it at Missouri, by the way.
And now the plan is to chant his name for the entire game at Kyle
That's
Field.
a lot of chanting.
And they will be chanting his name across the nation, from College Station to New York and to Miami. And it is simply to raise awareness for Marcel Reed. There have been reports that graphic tees on TikTok Shop with Marcel Reed's face on it have completely sold out because people have been buying them to support their quarterback. And a Heisman campaign is obviously done on the field, but it takes a lot of work on social media as well. And
it takes a village.
And Chance is part of that. So to everyone who's a little bit confused of what Chance is, I hope that's your crash course of understanding and joining in on the movement. That individual's information will remain classified, but just know it came from deep in the A&M Twitterverse.
Not you.
Not me. From an individual named Chad.
Have you been voted spokesperson?
No, I just
You took it upon yourself?
No, I just do my part to raise awareness for this movement.
You're the voice of the youth.
I wouldn't say all that. I'm just
you're right.
a youth with a voice who chooses to use it to spread chants.
All right, well, I'm going to give you not 45 seconds. I can only take so much. McKinley, Luke, chant it up.
Marcel Reed. Marcel Reed.
So bad.
Marcel Reed.
He's good, though. Keep going. Come on.
Marcel Reed.
You're making it weird now.
New York, Miami.
That's what I do. Ask McKinley. I always make it
Around
weird.
the nation, chills, Marcel Reed.
Well, I can't wait to hear it at Kyle Field, and I can't wait to be walking around wherever on campus when I go to the press conference here in a little bit, and I hear, what? What am I going to hear?
Marcel Reed.
Chant his name.
Marcel Reed.
It's over. We'll see you guys tomorrow.